Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 21, Dawn of the Empty. After a moment, Orochimaru was knocked to the ground by Scorpion. Scorpion looked at this Konoha Sannin, he was weaker than he thought. But, the next moment, Orochimaru, who was lying on the ground, opened his mouth. Instantly, another Orochimaru emerged slimily from Orochimaru's mouth. The speed was so fast that the Scorpion had no time to react. Orochimaru's goal. It's not Scorpion, it's pain. Before you get the Sharingan, take your Rinnegan first. The next moment, before Orochimaru's hand touched pain, time seemed to have stopped. An unparalleled repulsive force burst out. Orochimaru was horrified. This repulsive force sent Orochimaru flying. Shinra Tensai. Orochimaru was intoxicated by pain's power. Just now, what was that? Pain said, Orochimaru, have you had enough fun? You don't think you can defeat me, do you? It is foolish to challenge God. It's almost time for us to get down to business. Orochimaru smiled inexplicably. Well, now let's get down to business. Why don't you try to get me to join Akatsuki? How about it? Do you want to try and pull me into Shao? Now, I am interested in Akatsuki. I want to know more about Shao. Scorpion said, what are you talking about when you lost to me? Orochimaru said, you can see that I am not serious. Pain closed his eyes. Sure enough, it was just as Obito said. This guy will make that claim. Pain agreed. Scorpio was a little dissatisfied. Pain said, rather than leaving this dangerous guy out there, it would be better for us to keep him around. And he should also understand that as long as I am by his side, he will not be able to act recklessly. Orochimaru said, I understand. He returned to the Rain Shinobi village with Orochimaru. In addition to Orochimaru, there is a new person joining Akatsuki. Obito recruited them personally. That's Kakuzu. Orochimaru looked at the members of Akatsuki. The Zero Burial of Pain. Kakashi, the Black Warrior of Akatsuki. Konan, the White Tiger of Akatsuki. Jade Scorpio of Shao. Fugaku. Akatsuki no Nanto Kisame. Kakuzu of Akatsuki. Orochimaru was becoming more and more interested. He looked at Konan and Pain's faces and smiled. They look familiar. Really interesting. Jiraiya. In the end, Orochimaru chose Akatsuki's Sora-chan. Now, there are still 2 vacancies in Akatsuki. But there are 3 candidates. Itachi, after he opens his eyes in the future, is the best and necessary choice. Deidara is also very strong, but he is still a child at this time. As for Hidan, that idiot, he is also very strong, but only if he learns to use his brain. Death by blood and immortality are both very pervert skills. It's just that Hidan's brain isn't working very well. He was eventually killed by a Chūnin from Konoha. If I could eliminate one, the brainless Hidan would definitely be the first choice. Orochimaru comes and he and Kakashi become partners. Scorpion and Angle did not form a partnership. Orochimaru looked at Kakashi with a sinister smile on his face. Kakashi, long time no see. Long time no see, Orochimaru. I just didn't expect that you would become a traitorous ninja of Konoha as well. Orochimaru said, you are very similar to your father, but you are not as strong as him. It's not your turn to talk about my father. Orochimaru smiled, your father and I are still friends. The space distorted and Obito appeared among the crowd out of thin air. Some of them knew Obito. Some people don't know Obito. There were only 2 people who didn't know Obito. Scorpion of the Red Sand, and Orochimaru. Even though Orochimaru didn't know Obito, he had heard about how Obito almost destroyed Konoha. Orochimaru said tentatively, Uchiha Obito. Obito suddenly looked at Orochimaru. He said to Orochimaru, I know your purpose. Your aim is the Sharingan and the Rinnegan. It doesn't matter. I'll give you this chance. If you can touch me, I will give you a Sharingan. But if you can't touch me, then just do it right under my nose and be honest. Orochimaru licked his tongue excitedly. Even Scorpion thought Obito was a little too arrogant. Orochimaru attacks instantly and at an extremely fast speed. He spits out another version of himself from his mouth, then stabs Obito with the Kusanagi sword in his mouth. I'll gladly accept your Sharingan. However, Orochimaru went straight through Obito's body. It was as if Obito didn't exist in this world. Obito sneered, he tightened the chain in his sleeves and wrapped Orochimaru up. Orochimaru. There's nowhere to escape. The next moment, Obito's Kamui eye turned and absorbed Orochimaru into the Kamui space. Obito's figure appeared in front of Orochimaru. Behind Obito is the ferocious Geto statue. Orochimaru's eyes revealed madness. Is this the ghetto statue? Obito sneered, you know a lot. Orochimaru licked his tongue, his eyes revealed madness. Uchiha Madara is not dead, right? He is really not dead. Obito said, he died and I got everything he had. He is not dead, I am Uchiha Madara. Orochimaru asked, what exactly is your purpose? Obito said, unify the ninja world. Create a perfect world. So, Orochimaru, I need your help. Orochimaru smiled, haha, that's really interesting. You actually want to accomplish something that neither the first Hokage nor the Uchiha Madara could accomplish. Obito said more. The next moment, branches grew out of his right hand. Wood style. Mangekyō Sharingan. Orochimaru's eyes widened. Obito said, what if, I have the power of both of them? Possesses the power of wood style and Sharingan at the same time. It is only a matter of time before it surpasses Uchiha Madara in the future. Maybe, Obito can really accomplish what Uchiha Madara couldn't. Such a thought appeared in Orochimaru's head. P.S. Change the cover to make it hotter. I think this Obito is very handsome. In the game, the furious Obito was changed to calm Obito. But in the novel, you have to be invincible and furious. Chapter 22 Love and Hate. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, it was Sasuke's enrollment day. He is also considered a prominent figure in Rain Shinobi Ninja Academy. My father is a member of Akatsuki. In Rain Shinobi Village, being able to join Akatsuki is the dream of almost all Rain Shinobi ninjas. So Sasuke was naturally taken care of by the teacher. But Sasuke was not happy. Because the attention he received was not because of himself at all. Look, that's Lord Suzaku's son. Look, that's the genius Uchiha Itachi's brother. Look, that's one of the Uchiha. Not a word was said about Sasuke. When returning home from school in the evening, Sasuke lay on Itachi's shoulder and held an umbrella for Itachi. Itachi carried Sasuke back home. Sasuke, who has a strong brother complex, tells Itachi about his troubles. Super Brokan Itachi also continued to comfort Sasuke. The other side. Obito received a message. Konoha's fourth Hokage wants to form an alliance with the Rain Shinobi Village. Also, exchange a group of students with Rain Shinobi Village. Obito was a little confused. What was Minato doing? Nagato asked him if he agreed or not. Obito smiled and asked, why not agree? Rain Shinobi Village is full of war orphans, who go to exchange for students from Konoha's prestigious families. Even if they hold each other hostage, Rain Shinobi Village will not suffer any loss no matter what. Fugaku went home and told the story. Sasuke heard it in his ears. At night, when Itachi was coaxing Sasuke to sleep, Sasuke said to Itachi, Oni-chan, I want to go to Konoha as an exchange student. Itachi was a little surprised, why? Sasuke said, because I want to do something for Rain Shinobi. My father is Suzaku of Akatsuki. The older brother is also a genius of Rain Shinobi Anbu. I am nothing. Quote. Itachi said, you are still young. Sasuke said, that's why I want to be an exchange student. Itachi nodded, I'll talk to father tomorrow. The next day, Fugaku learned of Sasuke's idea. He refused immediately. Because it's unsafe. Sasuke, however, insisted on going to Konoha. Fugaku had no choice but to ask Obito. Obito sighed. Sure enough, Ashura and Indra will meet one day. The two of them met, and it was good for Sasuke. Obito said that if Sasuke wanted to go, he could go and he would keep Sasuke safe. Not long after, Obito and Lin. He brought 10 exchange students, including Sasuke, to Konoha. Coming to Konoha again, Lin's eyes were a little sad. Although Konoha gave up on her. But this is where she grew up after all. Many years passed, and Lin became more and more lovely and beautiful, like a lotus emerging from water. And her chest is also quite majestic. Well developed. Feeling Obito's gaze, Lin hugged Obito's arm and said to Obito, Obito, let's go find the teacher. At Minato's house. Minato has become the fourth Hokage. The flying thunder god Kunai and the Hokage cloak are hanging on the wall. Suddenly, space distorted. Obito and Rin showed up at Minato's house with Sasuke. Lin said, teacher, master's wife. Haven't seen you for a long time. Seeing Lin hugging Obito's arm, Kushina also showed an anti-smile in her eyes. She pulled Lin over and whispered something to her. And Naruto saw Sasuke. Sasuke also saw Naruto. It was the first time the two met, but they felt familiar with each other. Hey, what's your name? Naruto no longer has low self-esteem, but he is still very naughty. Sasuke said, I call you Uchiha Sasuke. I call out Uzumaki Naruto. And Minato and Obito were also chatting. Minato said, Obito, what are you doing now? Obito said, realize your ideal. Your dream was to become Hokage. Obito scoffed, haha, it was just a boring dream. I don't care about it anymore. What are you from Akatsuki? Minato asked suddenly. Obito said, the mastermind behind this. Obito looked at Minato, teacher, you know, if it weren't for the decision of Shimura Danzo and the third Hokage, I would still be in Konoha now. Minato sighed, haven't you forgotten about that yet? Obito said, I can't forget it. Although I have already taken revenge. But I just can't forget it. I am a selfish person. I will not let anyone who wants to hurt Lin go. Minato said nothing. Instead, Sasuke and Naruto were fighting each other. Minato stepped forward and scolded. Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto said unconvinced, I didn't do anything, I just don't like this guy. Haha, Lousy is also unhappy with you. Sasuke said. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Come on, I'm not afraid of you either. I must knock you down. The two people were at loggerheads. Obito knew that this was fate, the fate of the two people was to love and hate each other. That's right, it's a love-hate relationship. As the reincarnation of Ashura and Indra, this is the fate of both. Minato said to Naruto, don't bully Sasuke. You will become good friends in the future. The next day, Konoha's Ninja Academy. A transfer student came. Uchiha Sasuke stood beside the teacher. His cool look caused cheers from many girls. This makes Naruto very unhappy. Sasuke said, my name is Uchiha Sasuke, please take care of me in the future. After that, Sasuke went to the last row. Naruto is the son of the fourth Hokage. He is also very handsome. Now Naruto is not Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and he doesn't have any beard on his face. But some things have changed, and some things have not changed. As the son of the fourth Hokage. But he likes Sakura in his class. Maybe Xiaoyang's personality is a bit similar to Kushina's. Little Sakura also likes Naruto very much, but after seeing Sasuke, it seems that Sasuke looks more handsome when he looks cold. Little Sakura became a little confused. She was struggling over whether to choose Naruto or Sasuke. Naruto is the bully in the class. He came to Sasuke after class to find fault. But Sasuke said coldly, don't think about finding fault. Nothing you do can escape my eyes. The king's style is at its maximum. This made Naruto very uncomfortable. And Sasuke is indeed a real genius. In the class, Sasuke's comprehension ability is always the best. Whether it was ninjutsu or basic common sense, Sasuke would learn it just by reading it once. A true academic master. This stole the limelight from Naruto, who, as a descendant of the Uzumaki clan, possessed a large amount of chakra. However, his chakra amount is higher than Sasuke's. The others are nowhere near as good as Sasuke. This made Naruto feel that Sasuke had stolen his limelight, and little Sakura had been looking at Sasuke recently. This made Naruto even more upset. Naruto looked at Sasuke with anger in his eyes, but Sasuke didn't back down at all. He looked at Naruto tit for tat. The two people's eyes were fighting in the air. Uchiha Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto. Don't disrupt class discipline by doing things that are not related to the class. You two, stand outside and be punished. Sensei Yumino Iruka said to the two of them. Chapter 23 The Power of Three Tails. Naruto and Sasuke have always been at odds. Naruto relies on being the son of the fourth Hokage and has many followers around him. So he always wanted to bully Sasuke. However, I have never been able to get any advantage. This made Naruto very angry. When I got home in the evening, I saw Kushina cooking. Seeing his bruised face, Kushina smiled, what's wrong, did you fight with Sasuke again? Naruto however asked, where's father? Kushina said, Minato, he's very busy and may not come back tonight. Naruto's face was filled with disappointment. Minato didn't even go home when he was injured in a fight. The last time he met his father was when Obito and Sasuke came a few days ago. Naruto is now the same as before, yet different. The difference is that he has parents. The same thing is that he is trying desperately to attract other people's attention. In the past, he made trouble just to attract the attention of the villagers. And now, he was fighting with Sasuke just to get Minato's attention. Even if it means getting scolded by Minato. Kushina said, why do you only fight with Sasuke? Wouldn't Minato want you to be good friends? Naruto was a little dissatisfied. He whispered, who wants to be good friends with him? Kushina was also helpless. After giving birth to Naruto, she became less prone to temper tantrums. The next day, Obito brought Lin to Kushina's house again. With Sasuke. Even though Naruto didn't like Sasuke, he liked having Sasuke come to his house. Because, this proves that Minato will go home today. Obito is the mastermind behind Rain Shinobi Village, Akatsuki. The relationship between Konoha and Rain Shinobi is the biggest thing. Obito came and told his purpose. That is to let Kushina remove the 8-sign seal on Lin's belly. Because Obito wants Lin to initially master the power of 3 tails. Minato frowned after hearing this, because controlling the tailed beasts is a very dangerous thing. Although the power of the tailed beasts is very strong, there is a risk of the tailed beasts going out of control when relying on their power. Obito said, it's okay, I'm sure I can intimidate 3 tails. Minato was helpless. I can only agree. The space twisted, and Obito, Lin, and Kushina disappeared from the spot. In the Kamui space, Lin took off her outer clothes, wearing only a tight bra, and then lay on the ground. Black lines could be vaguely seen on her flat belly. Obito touched Lin's belly and said, don't be nervous, relax your mind and look into my eyes. I'm here to negotiate with 3 tails. Then Obito said to Kushina, Master, when I come back, you will remove Lin's 8-sign seal. Kushina nodded. Obito put one hand on Lin's belly, making her face turn red. Obito said to Lin, look into my eyes. Lin looked into Obito's eyes. The dark pupils of his beautiful eyes instantly turned red, and 3 magatama as bright as gems were embedded in them. Lin's lavender eyes were also very beautiful, but deep in her eyes, Obito saw a hint of violence. Obito sneered, 3 tails. You have nowhere to escape. Lin's body. The giant turtle was imprisoned in a huge cage. The 3 tails swung casually on top of the turtle shell. Seeing Obito coming, Isobu didn't even look at him. He simply ignored Obito. But Obito knew that all of this was pretended by Iso. The indifference and brutality he saw in Lin's eyes just now were not wrong. Obito said, Iso, speak. 3 tails raised one eye to look at Obito, what do you want me to say? Obito said, just asking you, do you want to go out? Ichigo said disdainfully, I don't want to. I have seen through you greedy humans. You just want my power. Obito sneered, you are too confident in yourself. Your strength is worthless in my eyes. When I was controlled by Uchiha Madara, I believe you have noticed that I have the same eyes as Uchiha Madara. I am here to give you a final ultimatum. You have 3 choices. 1. Voluntarily give Lin power, so that you will gain maximum freedom. 2. Be controlled by me with Sharingan, and then be manipulated by me. 3. Return to the Geto statue. Iso's eyes were filled with anger, Geto statue. How do you know Geto statue? Quote. Obito sneered, have you been locked up in Lin's body and become stupid? Is the Geto statue rare? If you choose one, it will be a win-win situation for you. Don't think that Lin will die if you leave her body. I have a way to save Lin. 3 tails is lost in thought. The tailed beasts will not die, but being sucked into the Geto statue would be more painful for them than death. And Obito happens to have the Geto statue. This is equivalent to strangling 3 tails' lifeline. And 3 tails was considered the most timid among the tailed beasts, so he hesitated. He was intimidated by Obito. When Obito saw the changes in 3 tails, the corners of his mouth slightly raised and he continued to add fuel to the fire. For me, the tailed beasts are indeed tools, but to Lin, the tailed beasts are friends. These words seemed to have touched Jisho. It remembered the time at the Kannabi Bridge. For the sake of the village and to avoid turning into a tailed beast, Rin actually committed suicide. Indeed, this is a kind girl. In order not to die. Then I will trust humans one last time. Isobu said, I choose one. Obito clapped his hands, wise choice. The next moment, Obito appeared in the outside world and said to Kushina, Master, please untie the 8-sign seal. Isobuki has agreed to become Jinchuriki with Lin. The next moment, Obito took Lin into her inner world. Lin was a little scared when she saw 3 tails in the huge cage. This monster has been imprisoned in my body for so many years. How pitiful. 3 tails could sense Lin's feelings. There was something touching about it. This little girl, besides being scared, actually felt sorry for me. Haha, that's really interesting. Maybe she is really worthy of my trust. At this time, the 8-sign seal was released. The huge cage was opened. Three Tails is out. Its huge eyes looked at Lin. Lin was a little scared. Obito said, "Lin, don't be afraid, from now on, it will fight alongside you." His name is Isobu. The next moment, Isatsu's huge claws collided with Lin's hand. Lin officially possessed Isatsu's power, and Isatsu also had the greatest degree of freedom. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 24 Konoha Academy. In Kamui space, Lin waved her hand and a huge coral crystal appeared. Three Tails also excels in water style. Moreover, the amount of chakra of the tailed beasts is extremely huge. With the existence of Three Tails, Lin has an extra layer of security. The seal was broken, and Three Tails also passed through Lin's eyes. Saw the huge Geto statue. It was shocked. It turned out that he really didn't lie to it. Dot 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 dot. Kushina's eyes were full of envy. Lin possesses the power of Three Tails. And Kushina, who is also Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Not only can she not use the power of Nine Tails, but she also has to use chakra at all times to prevent Nine Tails from rebelling. Kushina was speechless. The nine-tailed fox was full of rebellion. Inside Kushina, Nine Tails was dismissive. He even looked down upon Three Tails. Dot 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 dot. In Minato's house, space is distorted. Three people showed up at Minato's house. Naruto and Sasuke were tussling again, but Minato was cooking so he didn't see it. Naruto punched Sasuke and Sasuke kicked Naruto. No one got any advantage. When they saw the three men coming back, they stopped fighting. Minato's craftsmanship is excellent. Even the food she cooks is better than Kushina's. If a man can cook, he will have half the number of competitors. Besides, Minato is handsome, fast, and strong. He is simply a perfect man. So Kushina became more and more dependent on Minato and liked him more and more. Dot 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 dot. At the same time, Iwagakure, Rain Shinobi's Anbu is on a mission. Itachi was among them, just when the mission was about to be completed and the intelligence was about to be obtained. They were discovered by the Iwagakure ninja. Itachi watched his companion die. His companion blocked the knife for himself. His companion's blood was splattered on his face. Itachi directly upgraded from single Magatama to 3 Magatama. The 1 Magatama was activated due to his excessive emotional fluctuations when he left Konoha. When Itachi was about to be killed, a huge black cube appeared above the Iwagakure ninjas. Then, it fell down with a loud bang, smashing all the Iwagakure ninjas into a bloody mess. Fugaku, who was wearing Akatsuki robes, slowly touched Itachi's head. "Father!" Itachi shouted to Fugaku. Fugaku said to Itachi, "Good job. Let's go. I've made such a big noise that I'll be discovered soon. This is also why I don't use Mangekyō lightly." Dot 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 dot. On the other side, Konoha. After Lin reached an agreement with Three Tails, she has been training in Obito's Kamui space. The purpose is to master the power of Three Tails as soon as possible and then be able to help Obito. Obito, on the other hand, came to Konoha's Ninja Academy feeling a little bored. In order to prevent Obito from suddenly rioting, Konoha's Jonin Yuhi Kurenai was sent out to follow Obito and protect him. Obito looked at Kurenai Yuhi. "Do you think I need your protection?" Kurenai Yuhi said, "This is the Hokage's mission, I will definitely complete it." Obito said, "After all these years, I didn't expect that you would become a Jonin as well. Are you still with Asuma?" Hearing this, Shihihong showed a trace of sadness. "No more." Obito was a little surprised. "No more." He remembered that the two of them had a good relationship, so why did they break up now? "Why?" Shihihong gritted her teeth and said angrily, "Why? Because of that fan you used that year, you broke 80% of Asuma's bones." Then he stopped lifting. "My family wouldn't let me be with a useless person, so we broke up." Obito recalled the scene in his mind. It was indeed Asuma who was barking like a mad dog, and he couldn't help but blew him away with a fan. Obito gave Kurenai an apologetic smile. Hong was helpless. Obito, who was the last in his class, has now become the secret master of Rain Shinobi. She was at her wit's end. Ninja Academy, today is an activity class. All the children were practicing ninjutsu in groups of 3 or 4. Naruto was challenging Sasuke. Sasuke looked annoyed, everyone was actively moving. There was only a little girl sitting on a swing in the corner, looking at her classmates with some envy in her eyes. Next to Kurenai Yuhi, Obito's figure suddenly disappeared. Shorahong was shocked. She couldn't detect Obito's presence at all. She stomped her feet in anger. She couldn't even keep an eye on Obito. Isn't this embarrassing? Hinata looked at the students in front of her with some envy in her eyes. Because of my cowardly character, I can't play with them at all. And because of her Byakugan, she looks different from them, which makes Hinata feel even more inferior. Suddenly a voice sounded in Hinata's ears. Why are you here alone? Hinata's face flushed nervously. She looked around and said in a timid voice, Who is speaking? Obito was hidden in the Kamui space. He looked at Hinata who was looking around, looking extremely cute. Obito said, You can't see me, I'm in another dimension. I said, why are you here alone? Hinata lowered her head, I'm different from others. Perhaps because she couldn't see Obito, Hinata wanted to talk to Obito. If I can't see Obito, I won't be nervous. She was really lonely and needed someone to talk to. Obito's appearance was just in time. What's the difference? Obito asked. Hinata said, my eyes are white, unlike others. Obito said, so what? I think white eyes are beautiful. Hinata smiled happily, are you serious? Obito said, well, remember, white eyes are not your flaw. On the contrary, this is your strength, your unique strength. My eyes are also different from others, my eyes are red. But no one dared to laugh at me. On the contrary, they envied my eyes. You and I are the same. These eyes are a treasure given to you by God. You are unique. Quote. Hinata listened to Obito's words, her eyes sparkling. Although the cowardice of his character could not be solved with just 1 or 2 words, it gave Hinata confidence. Thank you. What's your name? Hinata asked the air with a blush, but Obito didn't answer him. Hinata asked again, but Obito still didn't answer. Maybe he's gone already, Hinata thought. On the other side, in Kamui space, Obito panted and held Rin down. He looked into Lin's eyes. Lin blushed and whispered, I'll be 18 next month. Obito kissed the corner of her lips, feeling the softness and curves of her body, I know. Chapter 25, Dark and Windy. It was a dark and windy night. Today, Hinata is practicing jujitsu in the yard of her home. After the decline of the Uchiha clan, the Hyuga clan became the largest clan in Konoha. Hinata is the princess of the main family of the Hyuga clan. She has a noble status, but she does not have a character that matches it. She is cowardly and has low self-esteem. Suddenly, Hinata heard a noise outside the yard. Hinata, who was tired from training, was curious and wanted to go out and take a look. But, at this moment, a black sack fell from the sky and wrapped Hinata inside. Woo. Hinata struggled a few times, but it was no use. 4 or 5 ninjas wearing Cloud Shinobi Anbu clothes said, mission accomplished, retreat. Yes. They disappeared with Hinata in an instant. Hinata's Byakugan is of extremely high purity and is favored by all major forces. After all, the Byakugan is an extremely powerful pupil technique. And Cloud Shinobi Village has also coveted it for a long time. That's the Cloud Shinobi way of doing things, if they want something, they just grab it. Cloud Shinobi Village was not affected too much by the Third Shinobi World War. Therefore, the current Cloud Shinobi Village is the most powerful village among the 5 major ninja villages. They wanted 9 tails before, so they kidnapped Kushina. Now, they covet the Byakugan, so they come to Konoha to kidnap Hinata. As the princess of the Hyuga family, Hinata's value is naturally very great. In a black sack, Hinata was scared. I was so scared that I wanted to cry. She felt a little regretful, regretting why she was curious. She was also panicked because she didn't know what fate awaited her. At this moment, Obito's voice sounded from the void. Hinata, do you want to go home? Hinata panicked for a moment, but he still recognized Obito's voice, and she said, I want to. Obito said, but you need to follow me back to Rain Shinobi Village as an exchange student. In this situation, Hinata agreed in a panic. Good. Rain Shinobi Anbu heard Hinata yell twice. One thought, one good. They instinctively felt that something was wrong. Go. We are about to leave Konoha territory. Accelerate. There can't be any trouble at this time. The Cloud Shinobi ninja family cried and started to pace. However, a figure appeared in front. The figure was wearing a dark blue robe and stood in front of Cloud Shinobi Anbu with a grim expression. The leading Anbu ninja made a prompt decision. Stop him. I'll take her away. Yes. Suddenly, 4 Cloud Shinobi Anbu swarmed towards Obito from all sides. Thunderclouds appeared in their hands, with lightning flashing inside. However, their attacks went straight through Obito. Obito just ignored them. Cutting technique. 2 branches suddenly appeared in Obito's palms. The branches pierced through their bodies easily, and then the branches exploded inside their bodies and took root. Suddenly, the 4 Cloud Shinobi Anbu were killed instantly by Obito. Looking at the only remaining Cloud Shinobi Anbu, he acted decisively. Lightning appeared in his hand and struck towards Hinata. They want to destroy the body. Even if the mission fails, Konoha must suffer losses. However, an Uzumaki head appeared on the ground and grabbed his feet, and then the Uzumaki head said teasingly, "Can you tell me what it feels like to poop?" Cloud Shinobi Anbu was stunned. What the hell? Roll. At this moment, Obito came in front of him. The Kamui in Obito's eyes activated, and a branch appeared in the space around him, piercing through the head of the Cloud Shinobi Anbu. Hinata's sack falls off. Under the moonlight, she stared blankly at Obito's profile. Well, so handsome. Obito looked at him and Hinata blushed instantly. Yes, were you talking to me this afternoon? Obito nodded and he said, yes. Hinata whispered, thank you for saving me. Obito said, nothing. You need to pay it back. In a few days, remember to come back with me to Rain Shinobi as an exchange student. Hinata and Neji were the 2 people Obito was going to bring back to the Rain Shinobi village. Obito looks down on other Konoha shinobi. We, the Rain Shinobi village, have handed over Uchiha Sasuke, so it's not too much for you, Konoha, to hand over 2 members of the Hyuga clan, right? This is equivalent exchange. Hinata is easy to deal with, all she needs to do is use a little tricks. As for Neji, Obito also has a solution. That's the pressure of relying on Cloud Shinobi. Obito killed 5 Cloud Shinobi Anbu. This made the 4th Raikage extremely angry. Although he lost more than he gained, he didn't think so. Whatever the reason was, it was a foregone conclusion that Konoha had killed 5 Cloud Shinobi Anbu. So he decisively attacked Konoha. The reason is, Konoha killed the Cloud Shinobi ninja. So, they asked Konoha to hand over the murderer. Otherwise, the 4th Ninja World War will begin. If the 4th Hokage died in battle and the 3rd Hokage regained power, then he would agree. Konoha would give up Hyuga Hazashi again in exchange for peace. However, history has changed. The 4th Hokage did not die in battle. The 4th Hokage would never do something like that. After all, when Konoha wanted to give up Rin in exchange for peace with Kurigakure, the disaster that Obito brought to Konoha was much greater. So, Minato won't make the same mistake again. The purpose of building a village is to protect companions, not to sacrifice companions to protect the village. Minato's attitude is very tough. The 3rd Hokage didn't dare to speak. The remaining high-ranking official, Shimura Danzo, also went into hiding. He had been hiding since Obito came to Konoha and was afraid to see Obito. Because Obito really dared to kill himself. Therefore, the entire Konoha only follows Minato's lead. The Hyuga family. Hyuga Hazashi pushed open the door of Hyuga Hiyashi's room. Brother, hand me over. What are you talking about? Hyuga Hiyashi scolds his younger brother. Hyuga Hazashi said, this happened because of Hinata. Konoha and Cloud Shinobi go to war, and Konoha will definitely be the loser in the end. Brother, do you want to see this scene? Do you want to see Konoha destroyed because of us, the Hyuga clan? Hyuga Hiyashi was silent. Indeed, the 3rd Ninja World War and the Obito cholera incident had severely damaged the vitality of the entire Konoha. The current Konoha is indeed no match for Cloud Shinobi. No. The door suddenly opened and Neji rushed in. He said to Hyuga Hazashi, Father, you can't go and die. Hyuga Hazashi yelled, do you want to watch Konoha perish because of us, the Hyuga clan? Moreover, the branch house sacrifices itself for the main house. This is the fate of our Hyuga branch house. Neji was silent as well. He was also at a loss. When it comes down to it, it's all because of power. Neji clenched his fists. I am too weak, Konoha is too weak. That's why he was bullied by Cloud Shinobi. That's why he was faced with the choice of his father committing suicide. Back when the 1st Hokage was alive, which country didn't treat Konoha with respect? Still too weak. Suddenly, space distorted and Obito appeared on the main seat of the Hyuga clan. He crossed his legs and watched the Hyuga clan quarrel with great interest. Who are you? Neji yelled at Obito. Obito said coldly, come and save your father's people. He's Obito. Hyuga Hiyashi said coldly, what are you doing here? Obito said, I've already said this once. I'm here to save him. I pointed out Hyuga Hazashi. How? Neji said solemnly. Obito sneered, I'm going to put pressure on the Cloud Shinobi village. The price is, Hyuga Neji followed me back to Rain Shinobi as an exchange student. No, Hyuga Hiyashi said that he couldn't let the Byakugan stay in other villages. Obito glared at him, I didn't ask you. Neji, you answer. Do you want to save your father? Neji's face showed a struggle, and after a long while, he said, I want to. Good. Obito laughed loudly, and then his figure twisted and disappeared from the spot. Chapter 26 Cloud Shinobi Negotiation. Land of Lightning, Cloud Shinobi Village. The village was founded on a towering mountain, filled with clouds and echoing with deafening thunder, and is home to 2 Jinchuriki, 2 tails and 8 tails. Reikage Building. The 4th Reikage was teaching his younger brother a lesson. That is 8 tails Jinchuriki Killer B. Suddenly, the 4th Reikage looked to the side. Killer B was stunned, brother, why did you stop? The 4th Reikage said, in the next room, there's an enemy invasion. The next moment, the 4th Reikage instantly appeared at the wall, his palm covered with lightning and violently pierced through the wall. 4-hand pass. The 4th Reikage frowned because he didn't pierce anything. It missed. This is impossible. There is obviously someone there. The Reikage's perception is unerring. At this moment, a cold voice appeared, 4th Reikage, how about we discuss a deal? The 4th Reikage is surrounded by lightning, and his hair stands up. Thunder me bomb. The Reikage rushed towards the sound, smashing through wall after wall. However, the target was still not found. Be careful, B. The Reikage yelled at Killer B. Killer B also said, whole brother, stupid brother, brother who can't find the target. Obito appeared silently behind Killer B. Then Killer B sensed it. Specifically, it was the 8 tails in his body that sensed it. Bye, watch your back. Killer B quickly drew his sword and slashed behind him, but his sword pierced through Obito's body. Obito also runs through Killer B's body. The Reikage saw Obito, and so did Killer B. The Reikage frowned. He is a reckless man, but he is not stupid. He just saw Killer B pierce through Obito's body. He must have some ninjutsu that can make him immune to damage. Obito said, Reikage is so impatient, you won't even talk about the deal. The lightning around the Reikage disappeared. He said to Obito, trade is fine, tell me your name. Obito showed his true face and said, Uchiha Obito. Uchiha. The Reikage narrowed his eyes, what are the Uchiha guys doing in Cloud Shinobi? Obito said, I made a deal with Konoha. I'm here to stop you from continuing to attack Konoha. The Reikage sneered, why do you do that? Obito said, you should have heard of the ghetto statue that I built that caused Konoha to suffer heavy losses. If you don't agree, today, it will befall Cloud Shinobi. Obito finished speaking, and the time and space above him collapsed. The hideous face of the huge ghetto statue appeared from the alien space. The Reikage said, we Cloud Shinobi have 2-tailed beasts. Killer B yelled, brother, Hachi is scared. He is afraid of this thing. 8 tails Gyuki, nonsense, I didn't. The Reikage was silent, something that even the tailed beasts would be afraid of. We must not let it befall Cloud Shinobi. He is the Reikage and needs to consider the entire Cloud Shinobi village. After a long pause, the Reikage said, well, you win. Obito reclaims the ghetto statue. He said, don't think you're at a disadvantage. The reason why Anbu from Cloud Shinobi died was because you had evil intentions and wanted to kidnap Hinata. I'll tell you now. Hinata is now in our Rain Shinobi, at the Akatsuki headquarters. If you want her Byakugan, you can try Rain Shinobi. After putting down this sentence, Obito disappeared. The Reikage was almost overcome with rage. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Lightning appears on the Reikage. He slammed the ground angrily. Boom. The entire Reikage building came crashing down. Return to Konoha. Obito is leaving Konoha. He also wants to take his exchange student with him. Minato smiled and asked Obito, are there any students you like? This generation of Ino Shikacho is very good, and a good junior has also appeared in the Yuhi family. Obito said, I already have a candidate, and I have spoken to them, and they have agreed. Minato asked, who is it? Obito says, Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Neji. Minato's face froze, the princess of the Hyuga clan. The Hyuga clan agreed. Obito said with disdain, I don't care about them. Hinata agreed, and so did Neji. If they don't agree, just wait for the ghetto statue to descend upon the Hyuga clan. It was learned that Hyuga Hinata and Neji were going to Rain Shinobi as exchange students. Hyuga Hiyashi was very reluctant to leave. But he had no choice. The result could not be changed, and he did not want the Geto statue to come. Rain Shinobi handed over Sasuke from the Uchiha clan, so it makes sense for Konoha to hand over the princess from the Hyuga clan. But Neji and Hinata felt differently. They are more nervous and excited. The space twisted, and Obito took the two into the Kamui space. Then we came to Minato's house again. He needs Kushina's help. Looking at Kushina, Obito said, "Master, can you remove the curse?" "Curse seal?" Kushina asked in confusion. Obito nodded and released Neji. There was a circle of marks on Neji's forehead. "This is curse mark, caged bird." Curse mark, caged bird can automatically destroy the Byakugan when a Hyuga member dies. Prevent white eye leakage. But this also limits the talents of the Hyuga people. The decline of the Hyuga clan is closely related to curse mark, caged bird. Obito said curse mark, caged bird to Kushina. Kushina shook her head and said, "I'm afraid not. We Uzumakis are good at sealing techniques, not curse seals." Obito nodded and said goodbye to Kushina. He suddenly thought of a perfect candidate. I believe he must be very interested in curse mark, caged bird. After all, he is good at studying curses. That is Akatsuki's Sora-chan, Orochimaru. I believe Orochimaru is also interested in the Byakugan, but Obito wants to warn Orochimaru in advance. In order to prevent him from touching Neji, he can find another Byakugan test subject for Orochimaru, but Neji and Hinata cannot be touched. Chapter 27, Fox. Back to Rain Shinobi. Hinata and Neji stayed at Obito's house. Lin likes the cute Hinata very much. Basically, Lin is the one who sends Neji and Hinata off every day. The weather in Rain Shinobi village rains all year round, which made the two people very uncomfortable at first, but it got better after a few days. On this day, Obito brought Neji to Orochimaru's experimental base. Orochimaru has been very well behaved lately and hasn't tried to steal the Sharingan and Rinnegan. Because he found something more interesting. That is the Geto statue of Obito. Life is so boring. Orochimaru's pursuit is not big. He just wants to pursue the truth of life and learn all the ninjutsu in the ninja world. Now, he has one more pursuit. That is, to find the ancient truth. Orochimaru is different from others, he always likes to pursue the truth, and he was able to investigate it before Sengoku. There is another period. That was the period of the Sage of Six Paths. The Sage of Six Paths is the creator of the entire ninja world and possesses great power. But then he died. I don't know why he died. Orochimaru was very interested in this, he wanted to know why such a powerful man would die. But how hard is it to find the truth of ancient times? But that day, he saw the Geto statue, a monster inside Obito. This monster has a life level that even Orochimaru cannot understand. It was so charming in his eyes. Space is distorted in the laboratory. Obito emerges from time and space with Neji. He pushed Neji forward and Orochimaru licked his lips, a guy from the Hyuga clan. Obito nodded, and he said to Orochimaru, "Can you remove the curse on Neji?" Orochimaru smiled, "Haha, I'm good at curse seals, so it should be possible." "But what type of curse?" Obito said, "Caged bird, a binding seal." Obito then told Orochimaru about the characteristics of caged bird. Orochimaru sighed after hearing this, what a pedantic clan. That is why the Hyuga clan is inferior to the Uchiha clan. Obito warned Orochimaru, "If you want the Byakugan's base material, don't attack Neji. I will find you another test subject." Orochimaru smiled, "Hehe, don't worry. I don't have the time, there's something important happening soon." Orochimaru smiled sinisterly. Orochimaru is the ancestor of curse mark research. Curse mark, caged bird is not very profound, it just has the characteristic of mutual destruction. This trait will lead to the destruction of both caged bird and white eyes. And Orochimaru needs to crack this characteristic. Although this is a bit troublesome for Orochimaru, it is not unsolvable. Suddenly, Orochimaru said to Obito, "Obito, can you please do me a favor? I can leave all my experimental data in Akatsuki." Obito was a little surprised, "You want to leave Akatsuki?" Orochimaru nodded, "Hehe, that's right. I may leave Akatsuki next month. You need to help me hold Minato back while I take the third generation away. 1 month later, it will be Konoha's Chūnin exam. They will invite Sunagaku to join them. I will take advantage of that time to kill the third generation." Obito was a little surprised, but he nodded. If the corrupt third generation were still alive, it would indeed be detrimental to Obito's future plans. Then let Orochimaru take him away. Obito agreed to Orochimaru's request. Orochimaru handed the Sora-chan ring in his hand to Obito. Obito has been coming to Rain Shinobi for many years. Rain Shinobi Ninja Academy also trained its first batch of ninjas. So this time Konoha sent an invitation to Sand Shinobi. An invitation was also sent to Rain Shinobi. But Obito refused, and said that although he refused, he could still go to observe and learn. The fourth Kazekage of Sunagaku led a group of ninjas towards Konoha. The fourth Kazekage is Roroza, Gaara's father. However, Gaara keenly discovered. I don't know when Rosa changed. He often tilted his head and stuck out his tongue. You know, Rosha never had this habit before. But Gaara didn't care, being a Jinchuriki of Sunagaku. Gaara has been abused by his father since he was a child, and he doesn't love his father. Came to Konoha. The Chūnin examination went on as scheduled. But the fourth Kazekage is missing. When they found the fourth Kazekage, he had already shed his snake skin and was confronting the third Hokage in the Saizayong town. Suddenly, the whole Konoha was in panic. Konoha's rebel ninja Orochimaru is back. After Minato settled everyone down, he quickly rushed to the third generation's location. However, on the way, Obito stopped Minato. Minato was slightly stunned when he saw it, and then asked Obito angrily, Obito. Orochimaru is a member of Akatsuki, is this an Akatsuki conspiracy? Obito said calmly, no, Orochimaru has already left the Akatsuki organization. Minato asked, then why are you standing in front of me? Obito said, this is a deal between Orochimaru and me. Orochimaru and the third generation are master and apprentice. Let them resolve the conflicts between them themselves. As outsiders, we should not interfere unless you want the ghetto statue to descend upon Konoha again and tear apart the friendly cooperation between our two villages. Minato looked helpless. Because he had no choice, first of all, Minato couldn't break through Obito. Secondly, he had to consider the villagers of Konoha. Although Konoha also has 9 tails. 9 tails' combat power is no weaker than the ghetto statue without the tailed beast. However, the two are fundamentally different. The ghetto statue is under the control of Obito. The Shet Fox was out of Kushina's control. Chapter 28. Orochimaru is at a disadvantage. Although Orochimaru is very strong. But the third Hokage is also very strong. What's more, he is Orochimaru's teacher. The third Hokage looked at Orochimaru and said with great sorrow, Orochimaru. You used to be my most proud disciple, why did you have to get to this point with me today? I can't kill my own disciple with my own hands. Orochimaru was kicked away by the third Hokage. Then the big shooter steadied himself. He chuckled, haha, old man. You don't really think you can beat me, do you? Orochimaru then slapped his hands on the ground. He smiled at the third Hokage. Summoning technique. Impure world reincarnation. The third generation was shocked to see that it was reanimation jutsu. Because this is the forbidden technique created by his teacher, second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Senju Tobirama created countless forbidden techniques in addition to water style throughout his life. One of the two most powerful ones is the reanimation jutsu. The second is the flying thunder god technique. It is also the famous technique that earned Minato the title of Yellow Flash. After seeing Orochimaru use the reanimation jutsu, Minato looked worried. Because, the two ninjas summoned by Orochimaru are the first Hokage and the second Hokage. The cells of the first Hokage were given by Danzo, a filial son. Seeing this scene, the third Hokage also looked solemn. It happened to be these two people. Orochimaru smiled. Then, two people rushed out suddenly. The two used physical skills to fight against the third generation. Obito sneered, he laughed at Orochimaru's cowardice. How can the first Hokage and second Hokage be so weak? At this time, Orochimaru didn't even dare to give power to the first Hokage and second Hokage. Because he can't be restrained. The power of the previous Hokage was too strong, Orochimaru didn't dare to give them power. But despite this, the first generation's tremendous strength still made the third Hokage extremely uncomfortable. Yuan Fei Hiruzen was kicked away by the first generation, and then Yuan Fei Hiruzen used this to stabilize his body. He began to make seals quickly. A huge flame was sprayed towards the first Hokage and the second Hokage. The second generation moved forward, and he quickly formed seals, then a huge wave appeared and submerged the flames. Even huge waves rushed towards Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen spat out a mouthful of mud that turned into a wall of earth flow to block himself. Then he said helplessly, "You are worthy of being a teacher." It is unexpected that such a level of water style can be created in a place without water. But I'm not a weakling either. But the next moment, Hashirama started to make hand seals. Wood style. The tree is coming. This is the first Hokage's unique wood style. Pieces of wood broke through the tiles one by one, and then chased the third Hokage as if they had life. Obito watched this scene. How could the first Hokage's tree world advent be so weak? And the third Hokage still feels very difficult. He is entangled. The trees entangled Yuan Fei Hiruzen's limbs. Critical moment. Yuan Fei Hiruzen's exclusive summoning beast monkey demon appears. The ape demon appears again. He looked at the enemy in front of him with a serious expression. Old man, why is the enemy so difficult this time? The last time it was summoned, the enemy was the ghetto statue. After a long time, he was summoned for the second time, but the enemies were the first Hokage and the second Hokage. This gave the ape demon a lot of headaches. Yuan Fei Hiruzen smiled helplessly. Sorry to bother you, old friend, transform into the Rui Vajra rod. Orochimaru's face turned pale and he said, don't let it transform. The first Hokage and the second Hokage rushed towards the Saruman. Then he was kicked away one by the ape demon. Then white mist exploded from the ape demon's body, and he transformed into an indestructible Rui Vajra stick. The diamond stick rotates and cuts the tree. Then it came into the hands of Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen held the diamond stick in his hand. He looked at Orochimaru. It seemed that he returned to the moment when he was young and fighting. Yuan Fei Hiruzen said, thank you for your hard work, old friend. Since the ape demon doesn't say anything, just concentrate on fighting. Orochimaru's face became extremely ferocious. He spewed a snake from his mouth. Then the snake spat out a sword from its mouth. He drew the sword from his mouth, then smiled and stared at Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen glanced at the sword in the archer's hand. Is it a Kusanagi sword? The ape demon said, let's make a quick decision. Otherwise, even if I have an indestructible body, it's also very painful to touch the Kusanagi sword. Orochimaru wields the Kusanagi sword and engages in close combat with the third Hokage. The collision between the diamond stick and the Kusanagi sword produced a large amount of sparks. However, in terms of melee combat ability, Orochimaru is no match for the third generation. He was beaten back by the third generation. The third generation had a chance to kill Orochimaru, but, twice. He was soft-handed both times. He couldn't bear to kill his once proudest disciple. Scenes from the past appeared in the eyes of the third generation. Tears flowed from the corners of his eyes. The sneak attack by the second generation and the first Hokage knocked the third generation away, and even the Rui Vajra staff in their hands was knocked away. Yuan Fei Hiruzen took the opportunity to put detonating talismans on the two people. Boom! The detonating tag exploded, and half of the second Hokage and first Hokage's bodies were blown off. But it didn't work. Impure World Reincarnation's body recovered quickly. At this point, the third Hokage realized and wanted to really deal with the first and second Hokage. The most effective method is to target the soul. Saruma saw that the third generation was unwilling to do this, so he stretched out his arm from his diamond stick and grabbed Orochimaru's neck. However, what he caught was only the clone. Seeing Orochimaru reappear in front of them, the third generation said with a broken heart, Orochimaru, why do you have to fight me to the death? What's the point of this? Orochimaru smiled, life is meaningless. But you will encounter many meaningful things. You are the root of Konoha's decay. Kill you and Konoha will be revitalized. The third Hokage closed his eyes. He looked at Orochimaru. Orochimaru, you are my disciple, even though you said that if I die, Konoha will be revitalized. But you may not see this scene. After third generation finished speaking, they began to make hand seals. This seal is completely different from his previous seals. Minato's eyes widened. This is Shiki Fujin. The third generation shouted loudly. Behind him, a Shinigami appeared that only he could see. Shinigami captures the soul of third generation, and sealed the souls of the first generation and the second generation. Then the third Hokage quickly grabbed Orochimaru. Let's die together. When Orochimaru saw the Shinigami, he was a little surprised at the beauty of the Shinigami, but now is not the time to study this special life form. He needs to survive. Orochimaru controls the Kusanagi sword and stabs the third generation. The Kusanagi sword pierced through the third generation's chest. At this time, the Shinigami behind the third generation grabbed Orochimaru's soul. The powerless feeling of having his soul torn apart made Orochimaru feel a little desperate. However, the Kusanagi sword also pierced the third generation's chest. Orochimaru panicked. He really panicked. He yelled in panic, "Why don't you get out of the way? You will die." That's right, Orochimaru thought the third Hokage would dodge the sword. But he didn't. The third generation smiled. Blood was flowing from the corners of his mouth, but he smiled. Because the user who uses the Shiki sealing technique must offer his or her soul to the Shinigami. I deserve to die. Orochimaru panicked. He continued to control the Kusanagi sword and stabbed it into the third generation's body. He has to kill the third generation before the Shinigami rips out his soul. The third generation also felt the passing of life. He knew he couldn't take Orochimaru away. He said, "Your jutsu. I taught you all this. Then I will take him away." After saying that, Shinigami swung his sword down. Shinigami took away Orochimaru's hands. He could no longer use any magic. Then the third generation slowly closed their eyes. Orochimaru's distorted face gradually turned into a boy in the eyes of the third generation. He murmured, "Minato, Konoha will be handed over to you from now on. Where the leaves dance. The fire is everlasting. The fire will continue to illuminate the village. And let new leaves sprout. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot." Chapter 29 Two Choices. Orochimaru killed the third generation. But as a price, he lost both his hands. On the other side, Obito disappeared on the spot. Minato won't stop Orochimaru because of his agreement with Obito. After the third generation died, Danzo was also very happy. After all, in this case, Minato and Danzo are the only ones left in Konoha's upper echelons. If anything happens to Minato, then the next generation Hokage will be himself. Although Minato will not stop Orochimaru. However, Jiraiya and Tsunade, who were also Sannin of Konoha, learned about Orochimaru's murder of his master. However, they could not find Orochimaru. Because Orochimaru is now in Kamui space. Obito handed Orochimaru a red cloud robe of Akatsuki, and then handed Orochimaru a Kongshin ring. Orochimaru was a little surprised. "Didn't I already quit the Akatsuki organization?" Obito said, "So, I once again invite you to join Akatsuki. Last time, it was you who asked to join Akatsuki. And this time, I invite you to join Akatsuki." Orochimaru was puzzled, but he still laughed at himself. "Why would I go to Akatsuki? I am just a useless person who can't use ninjutsu." Obito said to Orochimaru, "When you reach the mountain, there will always be a way. Where is the road? The road is under your feet. It's just a seal. For a genius like you, is it possible that you can't unlock it? Furthermore, I invite you to join Akatsuki and become Sora-chan again. It's not because of your strength." Obito pointed at Orochimaru's head, "It's because of your wisdom. I have always admired your wisdom." Yes, Orochimaru is the best and most gifted scientist. If Obito wants to gain more ultimate power in the future, you must use Orochimaru's science to transform your body. Therefore, Orochimaru must stay. Orochimaru was very moved after hearing this. Obito personally put the red cloud cloak on him and put on the Kongshin ring. He is still teaming up with Kakashi. It is worth mentioning that Kakashi is now best at swordsmanship. His chakra reserves are too small, which makes him unsuitable for long-term output of ninjutsu. However, the taijutsu is different. Kakashi inherited Konoha's White Fang's talent for swordsmanship. Thanks to his hard work, his swordsmanship skills have gradually surpassed his father. He is slowly becoming the White Fang of Shao. All it takes is a fight to unsheathe the sword. Back to Rain Shinobi Village. Obito saw a somewhat lonely figure by the bridge. Itachi has grown into a big boy now. But, it is different from the original. Shisui didn't die, so Itachi didn't open Mangekyō. So although Itachi is a genius now, he is not a monster. He was drenched in the rain, thinking about what spiritual pain was. Under what circumstances would one feel that kind of pain? Obito's Kamui. Shisui the distinguished heavenly gods. Father's natural barrier. These different Mangekyō abilities are said to be felt only after feeling the pain of the ultimate. But what is the ultimate pain? Is it the loss of a loved one, the death of a loved one, or something like that? Life was too stable for Itachi to understand. The last time a companion died tragically, Itachi just felt a shock in his heart. So he opened 3 Magatama. At this moment, the dripping rain was suddenly blocked. Someone held an oil paper umbrella to shield Itachi from the rain. She squatted beside Itachi and said, "Itachi, getting wet in the rain is not good for your health." Itachi glanced at her, then Itachi smiled, "It's okay, Izumi. She is Uchiha Izumi, Itachi's childhood sweetheart. Itachi likes to eat sweets, especially tricolor balls. Quan took out a bag of meatballs from his bag. She handed it to Itachi, who took it after a moment of hesitation, and then put it in his mouth. The smooth texture made Itachi enjoy it very much. Quan squinted her eyes and looked at Itachi with a smile. She really liked watching Itachi eat. Izumi leaned towards Itachi and grabbed Itachi's hand. Itachi struggled for a moment, but did not choose to let go. The relationship between the two people is growing. Suddenly, a familiar red light seemed to flash across the sky. Quan asked, "Itachi, are you still thinking about Konoha?" Itachi was stunned and said, "This is already in the past. Konoha is the former village, Rain Shinobi is the current village. Although I was born in Konoha. But Konoha had been devastated beyond recognition by the war. Now, on Rain Shinobi. My father is Suzaku, my younger brother was born in Rain Shinobi, and I also have someone I like. Everything I care about is in Rain Shinobi, so Rain Shinobi is now my home. In Rain Shinobi, there are things and people I want to protect." After saying that, Itachi held Izumi's hand tightly. But at this moment, the space around Izumi distorted, and Itachi and Izumi were brought to a strange world. Itachi instinctively felt panicked. He looked around, and everything was nothing. Itachi was sure that the voice just now was that of Uchiha Obito. But now I can't see him. Uchiha Obito. Spring. Uchiha Obito. Spring. Quote. Itachi yelled in this unfamiliar space. I don't know how much time has passed, time seems to have stopped, Itachi can't feel the passage of time. Yet it also felt as though a very long time had passed. Itachi was a little overwhelmed. Obito's voice sounded in front of Itachi. The next moment, the iron chain locked Itachi. He struggled, but couldn't break free. Obito sat on a throne, looking down at Itachi as if he was looking at a clown. Obito asked, "You want to open Mangekyō?" Itachi nodded. Obito laughed loudly and said, "Okay." Then the space around Obito distorted, and Izumi, who was tied up, appeared in front of Itachi. Obito said to Itachi, "Now I give you two choices. Kill her, you will get Mangekyō, or let her go. Live a mediocre life in mediocrity." Itachi widened his eyes and looked at Obito in disbelief. He didn't understand why Obito would let him make such a choice. He instinctively wanted to choose Quan to survive. However, he found that he was speechless. Seeing that Itachi didn't say anything, Quan's disappointed eyes hurt Itachi's heart. He shouted frantically, but no sound came out of his mouth. Itachi was a little desperate. He yelled at Obito, "Why? Why do you do this to me?" Obito said, "The Uchiha are a clan that is born evil. If you want to gain power, you must lose something. ... Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 30 Itachi opens Mangekyō. Obito looked at Itachi and sneered. It seems that it is difficult for you to choose between your childhood friend and Mangekyō. That's good. Quote. After saying that, Obito gave a weird smile. The space around him distorted, and Shisui appeared with his limbs nailed to a cross. His tongue was cut out and his eyes gouged out. He looked at Itachi with blood flowing from his empty eye sockets. Shisui. Seeing Shisui's miserable condition, Itachi closed his eyes in fear. He asked Obito, "Why are you doing this?" Obito said innocently, "Aren't you going to open Mangekyō? Come on, come on. Choose between Shisui and Izumi to kill. One is your brother, and the other is your childhood sweetheart. Choose one, choose one, choose one and kill him. Kill them all and you'll obtain the Mangekyō Sharingan. Isn't this what you've always dreamed of?" Tears flowed from the corners of Itachi's eyes. He yelled, "How can I choose? I can't choose." Obito pinched Itachi's chin and forcibly pried open his eyelids. At this time, Itachi's eyes were bloodshot and he looked at the two people in front of him in despair. Shisui Izumi. He really doesn't want to choose. Obito sneered, "It seems. You can't choose between the two of them. What about now?" Quote. As soon as Obito finished speaking, Itachi instinctively felt something was wrong. Sure enough, in the open space ahead, the space twisted and three figures appeared. That's Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Makoto, and Sasuke. Fugaku's eyes were also gouged out, and blood was flowing from the corners of his eyes. Then their mouths were sewn shut with needle and thread. Obito frantically said to Itachi, "Choose. Among the five of them. You can choose one person to survive. Who do you choose?" Itachi wanted to close his eyes, but he couldn't. He struggled desperately, but he couldn't break free. He wailed, "No. I don't want to open my eyes. No more. I don't want to kill any of them. Obito said, no, you don't have a choice. Choose one person to survive. Then unleash your Mangekyō with hatred, despair, and regret. Then, with eyes like this, come and defeat me. Avenge them. At this moment, Itachi's hatred for Obito reached its peak. The thread on Sasuke's mouth was torn, and his mouth was a bloody mess. He cried out loudly, brother, I don't want to die. Brother, I don't want to die. At this moment, Itachi felt like his head was going to explode. Suddenly, 5 swords were pointed at their foreheads and then slowly stabbed in. This is Obito forcing Itachi to make a choice. Obito shouted to Itachi, choose, choose. If they don't choose, they will all die. If they choose, one of them can survive. Choose. Itachi's eyes were bloodshot and he bit his lip in despair. This kind of question. How can he choose? 5 people, only one can survive. The remaining 4 were all killed by me. Makoto also pulled hard the stitches that sewed her mouth, and her mouth became a bloody mess. Itachi, choose Sasuke. Sasuke is your brother. Brother, I don't want to die. Woo 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 woo. Itachi, save your brother, he's still just a child. One sound after another reached Itachi's ears. Pain filled Itachi's whole body. Look at the sharp sword about to pierce the eyebrows of 5 people. Itachi screamed in despair, Sasuke. These 2 words used up all of Itachi's strength. The next moment, everyone except Sasuke lost their lives, with the sword piercing their heads. Obito congratulated Itachi, it's you, kill them. It's not me. No, it's you. You chose it. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Itachi recalled scene after scene in his mind. Itachi, watch carefully and learn well. Your father will only teach you once. 1 against 7, go pick up Sasuke from school, and mom will make sushi for you. Itachi, the meaning of life lies in choice. 1 against 7, these are the 3 color meatballs you like. The scenes from the past reached Itachi's ears. He suddenly became calm. He said to Obito, Uchiha Obito. Shisui once told me that the meaning of life lies in choice. But I don't want to choose. As long as there is power. I want them all. The next moment, the 3 Magatama spun wildly and transformed into Mangekyō in Itachi's eyes. Amaterasu. The dark flames focused from Itachi's eyes and burned on Obito's body. However, the flames went straight through Obito's body. The next moment, red chakra appeared around Itachi and gathered into Susanoo. Blood was flowing from his eyes. The next moment, a huge Magatama was thrown at Obito. Obito was a little surprised, using Susanoo right after opening your eyes, are you crazy? Itachi said calmly, I now have one choice, and that is to kill you. When Itachi was about to make the next move, suddenly, the whole world shattered. Izumi, Shisui, and Fugaku reappeared in front of Itachi. He stopped what he was doing. Then, he looked at the 3 people in surprise. As smart as he was, he understood it immediately, illusion. Obito nodded. That's right. Itachi shouted, I don't believe it. Now this is an illusion. I don't believe it. You are all fake. It's all fake. Seeing this scene, Shisui was speechless. He looked at Obito with some resentment. Come on, I told you to force him to prescribe Mangekyō. You prescribed it to the child and he's in a trance. Obito shrugged helplessly, there's nothing I can do. If you want to open his eyes, you can only use illusion. Moreover, it must be done without his knowledge. Otherwise, if there is even the slightest flaw, with Itachi's intelligence, he will be able to see through the illusion. Furthermore, you must use your distinguished heavenly gods to modify Itachi's underlying logic for a while in order to open his eyes. It seems that it was successful. However, Itachi still looked at everyone warily. He couldn't tell whether this was reality or an illusion. Obito reminded Itachi, you're stupid. You are now Mangekyō Sharingan. What kind of illusion can control you? Quote. Itachi was awakened, and Mangekyō was activated with huge mental fluctuations. But Itachi's spirit has already suffered enough. So, even if the illusion has disappeared now, his Mangekyō will not disappear either. Mangekyō in Itachi's eyes looked out at this world. Perhaps, this is the real world. However, Itachi still had doubts. I suspect that even the fact that I opened Mangekyō was an illusion. There is only one way to prove that it is not an illusion. Itachi's eyes showed determination. He took out a kunai from the blade bag on his leg and stabbed it directly into his chest. If this is a world of illusion, I can't die. See this scene. Obito instinctively uses Kamui to tear the kunai apart. The kunai without a tip hit his chest. Itachi smiled. This is the real world. But, I never want to experience that kind of illusion again. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Chapter 31 Kisame Recognition. Maybe second generation is right. The Uchiha clan is a clan that is inherently evil. If they want to gain power, they must go through pain. Itachi went through the pain and despair of ultimate, so he acquired the Mangekyō Sharingan. His eye powers are Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu. It seems like he has experienced loss. Therefore, Itachi looked at the person in front of him and cherished him even more. Only when you lose something do you know how to cherish it. Itachi didn't know when the illusion began, but he knew that the illusion ended now. Itachi asked Obito, his eyes showing wariness towards Obito. He said, "Can I join Akatsuki?" Obito nodded, "Okay." Then Obito gave Itachi the Suzaku ring. Itachi was a little surprised, because shouldn't Suzaku's ring be his father's? But why give it to yourself now? As if knowing the doubt in Itachi's mind, Fugaku said, "Because I am no longer in Akatsuki, I have a new mission." Obito said, "Itachi, you inherit Fugaku's Suzaku, and you are now Kisami's new partner." Itachi nodded, he didn't care who he partnered with. He just wanted to protect the people he cared about in Rain Shinobi. Obito, Fugaku, and Shisui left one by one sensibly. Only Izumi and Itachi were left. When he was in Konoha, Itachi was a genius. Quan has always liked Itachi. Itachi also has different feelings for Izumi. This feeling is somewhat new and confusing to Itachi. Originally Itachi was a man who had suffered a lot in his life, he shouldn't have had this kind of feelings. But Itachi is different now. Not only did he not slaughter the tribe, he also joined the Akatsuki. Izumi held an umbrella for Itachi, and the two of them didn't say anything, just stood by the bridge and looked at the river. It seemed that this calm river could soothe the two people's somewhat restless hearts. Itachi looks really handsome in the red cloud robe. His eyes contained a sense of vicissitude that was not expected for someone of his age. Suddenly, a Samahata ripped the umbrella apart and placed it around Itachi's neck. Kisame said, "Are you my new partner? Are you still just a little kid immersed in love?" Itachi said nothing, he looked back at Kisame. Suddenly, Kisame jumped away like a frightened horse. Itachi gave him a more terrifying feeling than Fugaku. He looks so young. Kisame smiled, revealing his ferocious shark teeth. "What's your name?" "I am Hoshigaki Kisame, formerly of the Mist Shinobi 7 Ninja Swordsman. Please take care of me in the future." Itachi said, "My name is Uchiha Itachi." Hoshigaki Kisame suddenly asked, "Do you know what it feels like to slaughter your compatriots, Itachi?" "Obito told me that you killed someone you cared about in the illusion, so you opened these eyes that you are so proud of. Can you tell me what it feels like to kill a fellow human being? It is because you have this experience that I choose to team up with you." Itachi closed his eyes, he remembered his despair in the illusion. Indeed, that kind of hand picked Sasuke to survive. The feeling of choosing their deaths with his own hands, that feeling of powerlessness, really made Itachi not want to mention it again. Itachi said calmly, "You talk too much. Even if you know me very well, what about yourself? You are a scoundrel who got lost in the fog and didn't know where to go. Am I right?" Kisame smiled, "Let me tell you a story. Some sharks are ovoviviparous. The population of those sharks is very different from that of other species of sharks. Do you know why? Because of cannibalism. From the very beginning, the newly born sharks will devour the other sharks around them. The battle between the newly born siblings has begun, and everyone except me will become my bait. From today on, you and I will become Akatsuki's companions, so be careful of me." Quote. Itachi smiled and said, "I'm not that easy to deal with either. You have to be careful of me too." Kisame said, "Despite this, you and I are still teammates. I hope we won't be the last enemy." Itachi said, "Those who kill their fellow men will not have a good end." This sentence made Kisami's pupils shrink. Itachi added, "You and I are the same. When I made that choice, my hands were already stained with the blood of my compatriots. And we are not fish, we are human beings. No matter who you are, you often don't know who you are until the last moment. Don't you think that the meaning of death is to understand who you are until you are dying?" Itachi's words were unfathomable, even though Kisame couldn't understand them. But he was shocked. Moreover, he admired Uchiha Itachi a little bit, for he could understand so many truths at such an old age. He had some respect for Itachi. Only until death can one understand the truth of life. How true it is. He pulled out a new umbrella from behind his back and said, "Mr. Itachi. Here's a new umbrella for you." Kisami's name also changed from Itachi to Mr. Itachi. Itachi waved his hand, no need. Because the umbrella is not broken at all. The next moment, in Kisami's eyes, Itachi and Izumi's figures turned into crows and disappeared. And Kisame looked at his hands. He remained where he was, without even pulling out his samahata. By the river, Itachi and Izumi were still looking at the river with umbrellas. From the moment Kisami's hand touched Samahata's, he was trapped in an illusion. It can make the connection between reality and illusion so smooth. Possessing this level of illusion, he is qualified to become the Suzaku of Akatsuki. Kisame looked at Itachi, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Mr. Itachi, it's really interesting. Then Kisame stopped bothering Itachi. He left. The purpose of meeting Itachi has been achieved. He recognized Mr. Itachi very much. Chapter 32 New Organization. In Kamui space, Obito looked at Fugaku and he asked, "What is your Mangekyō ability?" Fugaku was stunned, and he said, "Although you are the leader. However, it is also very impolite to casually inquire about other people's abilities. But you are not an outsider. I will tell you, my left eye's pupil technique is a natural barrier. The ability is to arbitrarily produce blocks weighing between 1 kilogram and 1 ton. But the maximum volume is 1 cubic meter, and a maximum of 10 can be produced at a time. A very useless ability, effective against the weak. My right eye's pupil technique is the same as Itachi's. Also Tsukuyomi. However, my Tsukuyomi is not as perfect as his." Obito nodded. 1 physical attack and 1 illusion attack, not bad abilities. And considering his physical skills, Fugaku's combat power is also T1 in Obito's mind. Obito said, "In the current Rain Shinobi village, Akatsuki is the highest force. Besides Akatsuki, there is Anbu. So, I wanted to create a new organization. An organization like the Roots of Konoha. I named it Cloud Organization. I want you to be the leader of the Cloud, are you willing?" Like Akatsuki, Yun only collects elites. Fugaku was very excited when he heard it. He was surprised that Obito would hand over such an important organization to him, and Fugaku said loudly, "I do." "So, how many people does Yun have now?" Quote. Obito said sheepishly, "You're the only one. There are 10 commandments in Akatsuki. As for Yun close hollow corner bracket, the characteristic is the Shira mask, right?" Fugaku nodded, and Obito said, "I recommend 2 people to you. One is Orochimaru's subordinate, Yakushi Kabuto. Although he is not strong now, he has the ability to steal intelligence from undercover, which is the best in the ninja world. And after that, he will get Sage Kabuto, which will make him almost invincible." Obito admires him too. Because he is one of the few men who reached the top of the Jonin world without relying on his background, the tailed beasts, or the bloodline limits. Even if Itachi didn't use Izanami, neither of them would be a match for Kabuto. Sado wants to join the Cloud Organization. Fugaku noted the name, then asked Obito, "What about the other one?" Obito said, "The other one is also Orochimaru's subordinate. Shout Kimimaro. He is a descendant of the Yoruichi clan, and his unique bloodline limit dead bone pulse is also very powerful. It would be a waste of their talents if they stayed with Orochimaru, so they should be recruited to the Cloud Organization. There are still 2 vacancies in Akatsuki Organization. One is Deidara from Iwagakure, and the other is Hidan from Yugakure." Calculating the time, it's about time. Obito asked Itachi and Kisame to bring back Deidara. Then he and Pain went to bring back Hidan. These are the last 2 members of Akatsuki. The recruitment process went well, and Deidara was eager to get into the art of explosion. And with Itachi's strength, it would be easy for him to bring Deidara back. Deidara longs for art, he thinks explosions are art, the charm of destroying everything in an instant is simply fascinating. A few years ago, Tendo Pain came to Iwagakure and destroyed half of Iwagakure with his super god tier Luo Tianzhong. Deidara was mesmerized by the beauty of Iwagakure disappearing in an instant. He also became a huge fan of Pain. He also grew tired of the dull life in Iwagakure. Finally, the Akatsuki organization came to find me. Deidara is excited. Before Itachi could even speak, Deidara said, "You are from Akatsuki, right? Can I join Akatsuki?" Sure." Deidara is excited. This process went a little too smoothly. And Hidan sighed. Hidan is also a bit too arrogant. Then Obito and Tendo Pain gave Hidan a friendly and amiable education. Hidan's eyes cleared and he became obedient. Back to Rain Shinobi. Akatsuki, everyone is in place. The Zero Burial of Pain. Konan, the White Tiger of Akatsuki. Akatsuki's 3 stages Hidan. Kakuzu of Akatsuki. The Suzaku Weasel of Akatsuki. Akatsuki no Nanto Kisame. Deidara, the Blue Dragon of Akatsuki. Jade Scorpio of Shao. Akatsuki no Sora-chan Orochimaru. Kakashi, the Black Warrior of Akatsuki. Akatsuki organization, everyone is in place. Among them, 2 people are paired up. But, Obito said so. When fighting, you must never take off your clothes, otherwise you will be expelled from the Akatsuki organization. The second is that although they are partners, but you can't act alone. If you go on a mission, at least 5 people must go out together. Although the 2 rules are weird. You can't take off your clothes, and you can't fight alone. But these are harmless, just little things. Since Obito asked, they would comply. On the other side, Orochimaru's experimental base. In a corner, Kimimaro was drawing circles on the ground out of boredom. Occasionally he would glance at Orochimaru, and his heart would feel extremely satisfied. Orochimaru was a ray of light in Kimimaro's desperate life. So, Kimimaro can fight for this little bit of light. When the 2 met for the first time, Orochimaru once said something to Kimimaro. What is the meaning of life? Life itself is meaningless. But there are many meaningful things in life. For example, you come across this flower. For example, I met you. Quote. These words immediately captured Kimimaro's young heart. Then, his life had meaning. That is to live for Orochimaru. Fugaku is here. He asked Orochimaru for someone. One is Kimimaro and the other is Yakushi Kabuto. He told Orochimaru about the Cloud organization newly founded by Obito. And invited Kimimaro and Yakushi Kabuto to join. Yakushi Kabuto had no opinion. Kimimaro looked towards Orochimaru with a look of pity in his eyes. He seemed to be saying, I don't want to go. Orochimaru smiled and said, go, go. In the Cloud, you can realize your value better than staying by my side. Chapter 33, Intercepting 6 Paths. Rain Shinobi Village, Obito stood at the highest point, looking at the village. Looking at this chaotic world. Looking at this ninja world. Now, with Kamui and the power of time reversal, plus the Geto statue, I am already at the top of this world. I guess even the Shiki Fujin would have no effect on Obito. Because Shinigami can't catch Obito. And there are other ways for Obito to become stronger. That is the tailed beast entering the body. Rinnegan. Sage mode. These 3 power modes are relatively easy to obtain now. Especially the tailed beasts and sage mode. As for the Rinnegan, Nagato is using it, and Obito doesn't want it for the time being. As for Sage Mode, Obito wants the Raichi Cave's Sage Mode the most, although Raichi Cave's Sage Mode is very violent and has side effects on the body. However, Obito, whose whole body is filled with Hashirama cells, can reduce these side effects infinitely. As for Mount Myoboku's Sage Mode, it's just too mediocre. As for the tailed beasts, Obito wants 9 tails the most. After all, there are rumors that when the Sage of 6 Paths divided chakra, each tailed beast from 1 tail to 8 tails received 1 portion. The remaining 92 were all given to 9 tails. But now 9 tails is in Kushina's body, so it will be difficult for Obito to obtain it. After all, Rain Shinobi and Konoha are still on a relatively friendly footing right now. So Obito was in a dilemma. Finally, there is the power of 6 paths. However, there is another way to obtain the power of 6 paths besides becoming a 10 tails Jinchuriki. That is to obtain the power of yin and yang. However, the Sage of 6 Paths will only pass on the yin and yang powers to the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra. One person gains the power of yang. The other person gains the power of yin. Naruto and Sasuke, if they each get one, will be extremely powerful. What if I could take them all into my hands? There's something crazy inside Obito. He wants to steal the inheritance of Sage of 6 Paths. Go beyond the pale and gain access to the legacy of the Sage of 6 Paths. Obito disappeared into the rainy night and came to Orochimaru's experimental base. Orochimaru was fiddling with the curse seal. He now has 2 curse seals, one of which is a violent curse seal. That is the Raichi Cave Sage Mode collected from Jugo's body. The second is a binding seal. It is the curse mark, caged bird that was stripped from Neji. Although curse mark, caged bird is very low level, after being injected with the immortal power of Raichi Cave, it is no longer low level. And a whole new curse was derived. That is the sealing type of curse, the new caged bird. However, Orochimaru had no experimental substrate. The curse is only effective when a living person is used as the experimental substrate, but there are no living people left. Orochimaru was troubled by this. When Orochimaru saw Obito coming, he said directly, "Obito, I want experimental materials." Obito said, "Didn't I just buy you 5 slaves last week?" Orochimaru smiled, "Hehe, their bodies are too weak. Unable to withstand the power of the curse, they all died suddenly. I need experimental materials with strong vitality." Strong vitality. Obito suddenly had an idea. Isn't that Hidan? Isn't Hidan, who has an immortal body, the perfect experimental material for Orochimaru? Although Orochimaru lost his hands, he did not lose his wisdom. Obito said, "Hidan, I'll trick him over some other day, and you can use him to do your own experiments." After hearing this, Orochimaru's eyes lit up. Yes. Hidan is the perfect experimental material. Its vitality is so strong that it won't die even if its head is chopped off. The process of implanting the curse mark is very painful, but isn't Hidan a masochist? And Hidan will become even stronger. Why not do it? After saying that, Obito disappeared from the spot. Then a moment later, Obito arrived with a confused Hidan. Hidan asked, "Why did you call me here?" Orochimaru said, "Come and give you more power." Obito questioned Orochimaru. He got to the point. "Orochimaru, can you change my bloodline?" Orochimaru was a little confused. "Change your bloodline? What bloodline do you want?" Obito remembered that Madara activated the Rinnegan in his later years after gaining Hashirama's flesh and blood cells. "I am neither the reincarnation of Ashura nor the reincarnation of Indra. What if I were to take the blood of Ashura and Indra? All of them were transplanted into your own body." Obito said to Orochimaru, "Naruto and Sasuke's bloodline. I want the genetic blood of both of them to appear in my body." Orochimaru pondered for a while and said, "Hehe, it is possible. But rejection reaction should be considered. But half of your body is remade with Hashirama cells, so you can almost ignore the rejection reaction. It really is possible. But I need hands. Chapter 34 You don't want to. Both hands. This is a simple matter, for Obito and Orochimaru. A soul sealed by the Shikigami seal. As long as the practitioner puts on the Shinigami mask, summons the Shinigami, cuts open the Shinigami's belly, and then releases the soul. After releasing the soul, Orochimaru's sealed soul can be unlocked. As for the surgeon, there are only 2 candidates. Hidan and Orochimaru. Obito watched as Orochimaru tied Hidan to a bed. Then, under Orochimaru's instruction, Yakushi Kabuto injected different drugs into Hidan's body. Orochimaru said, "Hit him all. There is no need to worry about the rejection of the medicine, nor the rejection reaction between the medicine and the body." "Hidan, thank you." As the drug entered his body, Hidan's muscles tensed. His forehead was covered with blue veins, and he seemed to be enduring tremendous pain. Orochimaru said, "I know it hurts, you can scream out." Hidan opened his mouth. Emoji, cool, comfortable. Orochimaru was confused. Was he happy? It may feel like immense pain to others, but for a masochist like Hidan, he will feel the ultimate pleasure from it. Seeing this, Orochimaru smiled slightly. Increase the dose. Orochimaru was also very excited, perhaps, relying on Hidan's immortality. Orochimaru can really create a monster. As the dosage increases, snake scales appeared on Hidan's neck. His pupils also turned into vertical pupils. His pupils kept switching and flickering between vertical pupils and normal eyes. Moreover, black lines appeared on his body. The flesh on his back was wriggling at the shoulder armor. Then the bulge appeared, and the bulge exploded, revealing a huge pair of clawed wings. Hidan broke free. He felt pain all over his body. He also became a bit out of place. His body was covered with snake scales, and his eyes turned into cold vertical pupils. There is a huge wing on the right shoulder. See this scene. Orochimaru smiled. Although he didn't know the principle of Raichi Cave Sage Mode, he successfully made Hidan's body compatible with this power by continuously increasing the dosage. Then, immortals were artificially created. Although he is an extremely imperfect immortal. Hidan looked at Orochimaru. Damn, this hurts so much. Also, how did I become so ugly? What is this wing? After Hidan finished speaking, he grabbed the wings behind him, pulled them off with force and threw them aside. Cool. Hidan screamed strangely, and blood and mucus mixed at the broken wing. But after a while, Hidan's body returned to normal. The wings that fell to the ground turned into disgusting mucus and dissolved. Orochimaru looked at Hidan excitedly. This was his first successful experiment. Orochimaru opened his mouth wide and stuck out his tongue, which turned into a snake head. Then his tongue bit Hidan's neck. The curse on his body quickly dissipated. It concentrated on Hidan's neck, forming a 3-Magatama seal. Obito watched this scene. Maybe, in the future Hidan can really become a monster. In fact, if Obito could obtain the immortality of the evil god, his body would definitely be compatible with the blood of Naruto and Sasuke. However, immortality has side effects. Obito doesn't like it, but the healing power of Hashirama's cells can replace immortality to a certain extent. And Obito has a small plan to strengthen Kamui. Flying Thunder God and Kamui are both space-time ninjutsu. Kamui is stronger than Flying Thunder God. However, Flying Thunder God also has one thing that Obito cannot do. That means you can't teleport. Obito has Kamui, so his talent in time and space is definitely stronger than Minato. So, Obito wanted to steal the Flying Thunder God. Learn the core of Flying Thunder God, then activate it with Kamui. By combining the Flying Thunder God's teleportation and Kamui's invincibility, Obito's space-time ability will be even stronger. The other side. Konoha. The Chūnin exams were ruined by Orochimaru though. But Sasuke and Naruto still succeeded in becoming the Chūnin of Konoha. Sasuke ranked first in overall score, and Naruto ranked second in overall score. So Naruto is very unhappy. He challenged Sasuke to a fight, and Sasuke agreed. Sasuke has the one tomoe Sharingan, and Naruto has the massive chakra of the Uzumaki clan. But Sasuke learned the A-level lightning style ninjutsu Raidenwu. Sasuke narrowly won. This made Naruto extremely unhappy. After all, he was the son of the 4th Hokage of Konoha. He broke into the Konoha Hokage's office and pestered Minato to teach him Flying Thunder God. But Naruto has no talent in space. Naruto is very unhappy. He must learn Flying Thunder God to defeat Sasuke and avenge his previous shame. Since my father won't teach me, then Naruto will steal. Flying Thunder God is a forbidden technique, sealed in a scroll. On a dark and windy night, Naruto was in the woods, nervously holding the sealing scroll in his hand. Naruto nervously opened the sealing scroll, and then, one by one, he searched for the forbidden technique. Multiple shadow clone technique, tandem paper bombs technique, reanimation jutsu, ghoul sealing technique, A wide variety of ninjutsu created by the second generation were displayed in front of Naruto. However, the only thing he didn't find was the Flying Thunder God technique. Distraught, Naruto zeroed in on the multiple shadow clone technique. He just needs to learn a powerful ninjutsu. Multiple shadow clone technique is a ninjutsu created by second Hokage Senju Tobirama based on the principles of shadow clone technique. It often consumes a large amount of chakra, and ninjas often die due to excessive chakra consumption. Then the first Hokage listed this technique as a forbidden technique. However, as a descendant of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto has an extremely large amount of chakra. So he can almost ignore the side effects of multiple shadow clone techniques. This technique is simply tailor-made for Naruto. And the difficulty of this technique is not high. So Naruto learned it quickly. When he was about to learn the second jutsu, Sasuke stood behind a big tree and saw this scene. Ahem. Sasuke coughed and Naruto jumped. He was surprised. Sasuke, why are you here? Sasuke said with a somewhat resentful look in his eyes. Naruto, you don't want your father to know that you secretly learned the forbidden technique, right? Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 35, Rebellious Ninja Circle. Naruto gritted his teeth and looked at Sasuke. What do you want to do? Sasuke said, it's simple, just stop bothering me. I came to Konoha from Rain Shinobi, not to fight with you. I still have to go back to see my brother. I haven't seen him for a long time. Naruto said, okay. In Kamui space, Obito watched this scene. He also wanted to steal the sealing scroll, but he didn't expect Naruto to steal it in advance. Obito held a scroll in his hand, on which was written the Flying Thunder God technique. Flying Thunder God technique. Just now, at the moment when Naruto opened the sealing scroll, Obito received the Flying Thunder God technique into the Kamui space. Obito looks at the Flying Thunder God technique. After a moment, Obito smiled disdainfully. The Flying Thunder God scroll also turned into ashes. Flying Thunder God technique, nothing more than that. The core of the Flying Thunder God technique is very simple, and it can cause great harm to the body. Therefore, one of the prerequisites for learning Flying Thunder God technique is to have a talent for space. Obito took one look and understood. He just had to make his mark. You can achieve the same teleportation as the Flying Thunder God technique. Even what he can do is stronger than the Flying Thunder God technique. If Obito wants, his Kamui will be faster than the Flying Thunder God. After Naruto and Sasuke run, Obito made a hand seal on a big tree. Left his mark. The mark he left behind was a simple one, the pattern of his own Kamui eye. This is also Obito's mark. Simple, practical, and handsome. With Kamui, Obito can come and go freely in the entire ninja world. The border of Konoha and missed shinobi status. There was a forest, and in the forest there was a small house. The owners of the house are Zabuza and Haku. Zabuza was a traitor ninja who failed in his assassination attempt on Mizukage and was a fugitive ninja who was burdened with a heinous crime. He was also the second owner of the beheading sword. Bai is Zabuza's carefully crafted weapon of war. Bai is his most proud chess piece and a capable helper for Zabuza to realize his ambitions. The space distorted and Obito appeared in the forest. Obito lay on the ground while looking at the forest. Looking at the grass that was covering him, Obito suddenly missed Lin. After finishing things here, I will go back and spend some time with Lin. Obito closed his eyes, and suddenly a fruit fell from the air onto Obito's face, but it went straight through Obito's face. Obito sat up and looked at the fruit that hit him. Obito didn't recognize this fruit. But he was thinking, why did the fruit fall to the ground? Of course it's because of gravity. Obito suddenly felt like laughing. He was so boring. However, he also saw his goal this time. A very beautiful girl squatted in front of him. The girl had long black hair that cascaded down like a waterfall, her skin was as white as cream, her face was as red as a peach, her skin was as pure as ice and jade. She kindly reminded Obito, "Don't sit on the ground, you'll catch a cold." Obito said, "I know." The girl continued, "Then why did you sit on the ground if you knew you would catch a cold?" Obito asked him back, "Then why did you follow him willingly when you knew you were his pawn?" Hearing this, Bai's expression changed. He asked, "What do you mean?" Obito said, "Nothing serious, I just wanted to ask, do you have someone you want to protect?" Obito thought of himself and Rin who almost died. Obito also thought of himself because he had people who needed protection. That's why he has to become stronger. Bai's expression froze, and he recalled the scene at that time. In the snowy night, she was curled up alone by the bridge, and that was the moment she met the important person for the first time. He is weak, helpless and pitiful. He is tall, mighty and unruly. He took him in, and Bai nodded, "Yes. It is precisely because I have people who need protection that I need to become stronger." Obito said, "So do you want to become stronger?" Bai nodded, then shook his head, "This has nothing to do with you. Who are you anyway?" Obito stood up and looked at Bai. He had to admit that Bai was prettier than many girls, but he was a boy. Obito said, "I know you want to protect Zabuza. Zabuza is a rebel ninja with no seal. He is still wanted until now. But I can protect him. Aren't you asking who I am? Rain Shinobi Village Akatsuki leader, Uchiha, Obito." Bai's eyes widened. Even though he and Zabuza had been wandering together for many years, he also knew the reputation of Akatsuki. The Akatsuki organization is very famous. Bai narrowed his eyes, "Why are you telling me this? Besides, how can I trust you?" Obito said, "I came here to have you and Zabuza join the Rain Shinobi Village. By joining the Rain Shinobi Village, you will receive the protection of Akatsuki. You can join a new organization, the Cloud Organization. You don't want to be wandering around all day anymore, do you?" Bai's look was a little complicated. The other side. Next to a small hut, Zabuza was practicing swordsmanship while wielding a beheading sword. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and went back into the house, but Bai hadn't come back yet. Zabuza was a little worried. Although he said that Bai was his tool and his proud weapon. However, after years of living together day and night, he still has different feelings towards Bai. He was very worried, but the next moment, Zabuza turned around and saw Obito appearing at the door. Zabuza didn't say a word, he just swung the beheading sword towards Obito. However, the beheading sword pierced through Obito. Zabuza narrowed his eyes and quickly formed a seal, mist shinobi technique. In an instant, thick fog rose up. Zabuza is looking for an opportunity in the thick fog. But the next moment, a black hand stretched out from the space, grabbed Zabuza's neck and lifted him up high. Vines extended from Obito's arms and tightly entangled Zabuza. Zabuza saw Obito and asked, "Who are you? What about white?" Obito said, "It's okay. I am Uchiha Obito from Rain Shinobi Village." When Zabuza heard Obito's name, his eyes lit up. He said excitedly, "Are you the leader of Akatsuki? Are you here to invite me to join Akatsuki?" "I agree." Quote. Obito was a little confused. He asked Zabuza, "Why do you say that?" Zabuza said, "You Akatsuki's things. It has spread all over our rebel ninja circle. Although the apparent leader is Pain. But, we all know that you are the leader of Akatsuki. Rumor has it that Akatsuki will recruit powerful rebel ninja to join them. Everyone in the rebellious ninja circle is proud to join the Akatsuki organization. Aren't you here to invite me to join the Akatsuki organization?" Obito wanted to laugh. He didn't expect that Akatsuki was so famous in the rebel ninja circle. Obito said, "Not really. The Akatsuki organization is now full with 10 members. I invite you to join the Cloud organization." Zabuza was disappointed. "Cloud? What organization?" Obito said, "The Cloud organization is a new organization I founded and is not well known now." Zabuza said, "What if I want to join Akatsuki?" Obito smiled. "Okay, Akatsuki has 10 people and 10 commands. If you want to join Akatsuki, you challenge them. You just have to win. You can get his ring and join the Akatsuki organization." Zabuza nodded and said, "Okay." Chapter 36, Challenging Shout 1. Recruiting Zabuza was too easy. When Obito mentioned the rebellious ninja circle mentioned by Zabuza, he was somewhat interested, although Akatsuki was already full. But the Cloud is not full yet. Especially since the Yun organization now has only one relatively strong combat force, that is Uchiha Fugaku. As for Yakushi Kabuto and Kimimaro, they have not grown up yet. So Obito did not regard them as the main fighting force for the time being. The process of returning to Rain Shinobi Village. Zabuza was very excited. Because, he is also going to join Akatsuki. He was imagining how to use his beheading sword to seize the position of Akatsuki member. Because of Obito's orders, Akatsuki cannot fight alone. So they usually don't have any tasks. At most, I just accept some rewards to supplement my family income. Therefore, the members of Akatsuki were also very bored. Obito tells them that someone is going to challenge them and come to take their rings. Suddenly, all the members of Akatsuki were excited. The appearance of Zabuza added a touch of spice to Xiao's dull life. All members of Akatsuki have assembled. Except for Orochimaru, who is now the royal researcher and cannot be challenged until he gets his hands back. On the other side, there was a solemn Zabuza. He carried Zabuza on his shoulders and looked at his opponent opposite him. Bai was cheering for Zabuza on the side. Zabuza looked at the members of Akatsuki and he took a deep breath. Pain, the zero burial heaven path of Akatsuki, the apparent ruler of Akatsuki. Can't beat. Zabuza thought to himself. Next to him was Konan, the white tiger of Akatsuki. Konan was a girl, and Zabuza thought he was too disdainful to bully a girl. Next to him was Hoshigaki Kisame holding a huge Samahata. Zabuza had heard of Hoshigaki Kisame. Like himself, he was one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. He was also a former member of the Kurigakure Secret Service. After killing his superior, he seized the Samahata and escaped from Kurigakure. He was also an S-level rebel ninja of Kurigakure. Very difficult. Next. The next one is Itachi. Itachi looks very young. He always looks mysterious and calm. Zabuza has never heard of Itachi, so he can challenge him. Next up, was Deidara standing on the clay bomb bird. Deidara really looked like a child, feeling Zabuza's gaze. Deidara grimaced, then suddenly opened his fist, boom. He made an explosive lip gesture. Zabuza thought to himself, Deidara has never heard of it either, so he can challenge her. Then there is Scorpion of the Red Sand. Scorpion is completely hidden in the scarlet flow amber and looks extremely difficult to deal with. At least he looks more difficult to deal with than Deidara. He is not Zabuza's first choice. Then there is Hitaki Kakashi. Zabuza has heard of his name, White Fang of Akatsuki, also known as Schwangu of Akatsuki. He is the son of Hitaki Shigesaku, the White Fang of Konoha. He can break all obstacles for Akatsuki. Zabuza thinks he can challenge him. There are 2 more people. One was a sloppy young man holding an exaggeratedly huge sickle. Zabuza's evaluation of Hidan is that he looks good but is useless, and he definitely can't beat me. Finally, it's the Angle. Kakuzu is also very famous in the rebel ninja circle. He is an old veteran who once killed all the high-ranking officials of a village by himself. And according to rumors, he is an old monster who has survived from the Sengoku period to the present. Therefore, it is not within the scope of Zabuza's challenge. In the end, there are only a few targets that Zabuza wants to challenge. The Suzaku of the Dawn, the Weasel. The Black Warrior of Akatsuki, Kakashi. The Blue Dragon of the Dawn, Deidara. And there is also the Akatsuki 3, Hidan. His eyes were fixed on 4 people. Obito asked Zabuza. Who are you going to challenge? Zabuza nodded and pointed at Itachi. He is not famous and probably not that great. Obito looked at him oddly. You want to challenge Itachi? Why choose Itachi when there are no other options? Zabuza nodded. Yes, I want to see how he can protect the Suzaku ring. After seeing Zabuza choose Itachi, Kisame also smiled and said, you actually chose Mr. Itachi, you really have no vision. Itachi said calmly, it's okay. Except for Kisame, many people don't know Itachi's methods, nor do they know why Itachi was able to replace Fugaku and become Suzaku. They also want to see why Itachi became Suzaku. Zabuza slashed at Itachi with his sword, but Itachi's figure turned into a crow and disappeared. Then Itachi appeared behind Zabuza, with a kunai against Zabuza's neck. Zabuza's voice came from behind Itachi, you lose. The beheading sword was placed on Itachi's neck. Zabuza in front of Itachi turned into water. This is a water clone. Itachi said calmly, really? The next moment, the world in Zabuza's eyes shattered, and there was nothing in front of him. Itachi remained where he was without moving. Everything that happened just now was an illusion. Zabuza understood everything in an instant, and he looked at Itachi. This guy actually has such a high level of illusion skills that I couldn't detect it at all. In the eyes of others, Zabuza was slashing at the air. Then he condensed a water clone and put the knife on the water clone's neck. Said, you lose. However, Itachi only glanced at Zabuza from beginning to end. Kisame said, he, during the battle. If you have the upper hand in the battle with Mr. Itachi. You need to see if you are under an illusion. No, as long as you fight with Mr. Itachi, you must be aware of whether you are under an illusion. Quote. Zabuza was a little angry, he pointed at Deidara and said, that kid, I want to challenge you. Deidara was delighted, me. Ha 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 ha, okay. Brother Scorpion, I will show you what art is. Scorpion said coldly, your art is not worth mentioning. But, don't embarrass our artistic duo. Deidara stepped on the clay bird and nodded, okay. Then, Deidara looked at Zabuza excitedly. Deidara excitedly chewed on the clay in her hands. Card. Stuck. Stuck. Card. Clay spider, clay bomb, clay centipede. Deidara threw them all at Zabuza. Zabuza dodged Deidara's attack in a panic, but he couldn't touch Deidara. Zabuza yelled, don't you dare come down and fight me. Deidara nodded. Okay. Deidara jumped down from the clay. Then, Zabuza instantly appeared behind Deidara and slashed at him with his sword. However, Deidara smiled and said, idiot. You've been fooled. Card. Deidara's body turned into clay and expanded rapidly. It seems like it will explode at the next moment. Kakuzu yelled, back off. It's going to explode. Deidara, this be ****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Chapter 37, Challenging Xiao 2. Everyone stepped back. Deidara was among them. Kakuzu asked, "Why are you running?" Deidara said, "I'm not an immortal pervert like Hidan, so of course I have to run." When Deidara finished speaking, he continued muttering, "Kai." Then, there was a huge explosion. Deidara shouted excitedly, "Brother Scorpion, this is art." Without waiting for Scorpion to speak, Kakuzu kicked Deidara and said, "Do you know how much damage your explosion caused to Rain Shinobi?" Deidara said, "Uncle Kakuzu, don't be angry. I'll take on missions and earn it back." "Huh, where's Hidan?" Quote, Hidan was at the center of the explosion. Hidan didn't care at all about the expansion of Deidara's clay. "Seriously, little bang, why are you running?" Boom. Hidan was blown to pieces by Deidara's explosion. The explosion dissipated. Spaces distorted. Obito, Zabuza, and Haku came out of the Kamui space. Zabuza looked frightened. "Boy, that's not Obito's words. He was killed in the explosion. Why are the guys in Akatsuki more pervert than the other?" Suddenly, Zabuza saw Hidan, who was blown to pieces. His body was charred and broken into several pieces. Zabuza thought, "Is this an idiot?" But after he was killed in the explosion, wouldn't there be a vacant position in the Akatsuki organization? "I just filled in." Before Zabuza could speak, Hidan's dark head spoke first. "Oh shit, it hurts so much." Zabuza is in a mess, what the hell is this? How is he still alive after being blown up like this? Hidan's great battle, Kakuzu. Sew it up for me quickly, I still need to fight that guy. Silk threads sewed together Hidan's broken body, and the charred limbs were stitched together into a human being. Hidan picked up his bloody March sickle, pointing at Zabuza. Come on, play with me. Zabuza was stunned, and he survived like this. This won't kill you. I'm not even fighting. No more fighting, no more fighting. Zabuza said, Boss Obito, I am joining the Kumo organization. The Akatsuki are all a bunch of perverts. No more fighting. Quote. Obito nodded, okay, let's go find Fugaku. By the way, Bai can also join the Cloud organization. Hidan felt very bored when he saw Zabuza giving in. Cloud organization. After Zabuza and Haku came to the Cloud organization, Fugaku gave Haku and Zabuza each a Shira demon mask. And tell them, you are the 4th and 5th person in the Cloud organization. As long as the Cloud organization assigns the task. Just put on the Shira mask. One day, our Shira bread will be as feared as Akatsuki's red cloud robes. Fugaku speaks of his ideals. Zabuza and Haku went to the Kumo organization. And Obito returned to his home. Lin is teaching Hinata some medical ninjutsu. Hinata studies very hard. After seeing Obito, Hinata's face suddenly turned red and she became a little overwhelmed. Lin also saw Obito and said, You're back. Obito nodded, yeah, I won't be leaving anytime soon. Lin nodded. Obito patted Hinata's head and said, Be good, go play with Konan's sister. However, Hinata seemed to have a short circuit, her face was red and she couldn't speak. Suddenly, she passed out. Obito was somewhat helpless, he carried Hinata to the bed in a room. Then he took Lin's hand and left. Obito opened an oil paper umbrella and walked with Lin by the hand in the Rain Shinobi village. Looking at the increasingly prosperous Rain Shinobi village, Lin and Obito were both filled with great pride. Rain Shinobi village, the strongest hard power. No one in the entire ninja world is going to invade. Looking at Lin's face, it is delicate and beautiful, less immature than when she was young and more mature and charming. Her figure is also well developed. Just as Obito expected, although not as good as Tsunade, she also has a curvy figure and looks to be of D. As for the actual measurement, we will have to wait for Obito to measure it himself in the future. As we walked, we came to a street, which was a snack street unique to Rain Shinobi village. The vendors were selling food in an orderly manner. Obito frowned. When was this snack street opened? How come I don't know? Obito asked the merchants and they said that this street was built by Kakuzu-sama of the Akatsuki organization. With the development of Rain Shinobi village's economy and the strengthening of national strength, people's lives are getting better and better. This street is becoming more and more prosperous. Obito couldn't help but marvel at Kakuzu's intelligence. It is just a snack street now, but in the future it will be developed into a commercial street and eventually become a huge business empire. But Obito didn't care, Kakuzu had plenty of private money. Let him figure it out on his own. Kakuzu had the business acumen and the money, and Obito gave him the land to experiment on. Obito took Lin's hand and came to a meatball sushi restaurant. Seeing Obito coming, the boss came forward to greet him warmly. Obito bought a 4-color meatball, a special takoyaki, a cod meatball and a special salmon sushi. Obito asked the boss how much. But after the boss recognized Obito, they refused to take his money. They said, Uchiha-sama. Back when Hanzo ruled Rain Shinobi, war was raging and the people were living in misery. Families are broken, and everyone is hungry and cold. Running for life. But, ever since you and Akatsuki ruled the Rain Shinobi, we made money and Rain Shinobi village was stable. We have established cooperation with Konoha and now we all have money. We were all well fed and warmly clothed. Rain Shinobi village is so strong that we don't have to worry about war anymore. You also founded the ninja school so my kids can go to school for free. We can never repay your kindness to us in our lifetime. How can I accept your money? Quote. Obito looked at Lin and smiled, but he didn't force them to give him money. Rain Shinobi village is a microcosm of the entire ninja world. The current Rain Shinobi village is indeed peaceful and stable. But what about the ninja world? As long as the ninja system exists, there will definitely be war. If we want to completely put an end to war, we can only unify the ninja world and make everyone in it become one family. There is still a long way to go. Black Zetsu was killed by himself, Kagaya will not be resurrected. But Kagaya does not represent Otsutsuki. Although Kagaya will not be resurrected, what about Ashiki? What about Momoshiki? What about Fushiki? Otsutsuki will also be at the top of the Jonin world in the future. The sudden thought of this made Obito no longer dare to relax. The gathering of the tailed beasts is inevitable, but Obito has no intention of becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Because if Obito remembered correctly, after he became Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he couldn't use anything except the strengthening of his body and the truth-seeking ball. Even Kamui is broken. It's completely different from when Madara became Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Since you don't choose to become Ten Tails Jinchuriki. So, the only choice is to intercept the power of 6 paths left by the Sage of 6 Paths for Sasuke and Naruto. That is the power of yin and yang. Chapter 38, Son of Prophecy. Obito had another guess. Madara is able to use the abilities of her original eyes, but she herself cannot. Guess 1. Because Madara is the reincarnation of Indra's soul. Guess 2. Because Madara's eyes evolved into the Rinnegan. It's not the eye of the Sage of 6 Paths, but the evolved one of Uchiha Madara himself. Speaking of which, Madara is also a genius. He was able to obtain the Rinnegan through those half-truths clues given by Black Zetsu. However, no matter how talented he was, he has already turned to dust. This era is not the era of Uchiha Madara, but the era of me, Uchiha Obito. Obito squeezed Rin's hand. The two interlocked their fingers, and Obito held Lin's hand as if he was holding the whole world, which made Obito feel extremely at ease. Obito spent the whole afternoon with Lin. Then Obito left. Looking at the sleeping Rin, Obito instantly disappeared from the spot where he was, in Konoha, next to a big tree. The Kamui mark flickers. Obito appears in Konoha village. As night falls, Obito walks in the darkness, like a hunter in the night. This time, Obito came to discuss things with Minato. Minato might have fallen asleep at this time. Obito didn't have the habit of prying into other people's privacy, and he didn't go looking for Minato. Instead, they came to the Hokage building. Looking at the Hokage's office, there are photos of successive Hokage hanging on the walls. First Hokage Senju Hashirama, second Hokage Senju Tobirama, third Hokage Hiruzen, fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato. Looking at the empty Hokage seat, Obito's eyes had a complicated look. If they hadn't made that decision at the beginning. I'm still in Konoha. I'm still working towards becoming Hokage. Obito sat on it. This seat was no different from Rain Shinobi's. The patrolling Anbu found Obito. Obito gave him a look and he collapsed to the ground. Obito is not good at illusion, but he does know how to use it. The guys from Uchiha should all know some illusions, more or less. This is Konoha village. It is also the ninja village with the best relationship with Rain Shinobi village. Although the two have a good relationship does not mean that they will merge. Obito came here to try to persuade Minato in a peaceful way to merge Konoha and Rain Shinobi village. This is also the first step of Obito's plan. If Konoha and Rain Shinobi village merged, then, it would be a good start and would prepare for Obito's next plan. The merger of the two villages is not a merger in name only. It is a merger in the true sense. Rain Shinobi and Konoha cancelled the border, and Konoha's Anbu was Rain Shinobi's Anbu. Rain Shinobi's Akatsuki is Konoha's Akatsuki. The two villages have achieved true seamless interdependence. This is the scene Obito wants. At that time, there was only one country in the world. There is only one village. That is the ninja village. Suddenly, Obito saw a white afterimage in the air. Obito's eyes moved and he followed. That white afterimage is Jiraiya. I don't know where he is going, but I guess he is most likely going to spy on Tsunade. During this time period, Tsunade and Jiraiya were both in Konoha. Obito's mind moved, came in front of Jiraiya. Jiraiya was a little surprised when he saw Obito suddenly appear. The lewd smile on his face disappeared. He knew Obito, and asked, "What are you doing in Konoha?" Obito said, "Talk to you. We have nothing to talk about." "Why?" Obito looked into Jiraiya's eyes. "Is it because I destroyed Konoha back then? But you should know that it was not my fault. Everything was Konoha's fault. Let me ask you, if you come back and find that Tsunade has been sent out, will you be angry?" Quote. Jiraiya said, "Do you know how many people you killed when you controlled the Geto statue? More than 3,000 people. 3 days, many lives. Besides, Tsunade can't be sent out." Obito sneered, "That's right, Tsunade can't be sent out. Tsunade is the granddaughter of Senju Hashirama, the princess of Konoha, so of course that's impossible." But what about Lin? Lin is just a child from a commoner family. Tsunade has a strong personality, while Lin has a weak personality. Of course they are different. If someone bullies my girl, I will naturally protect her. Lin can only rely on me. When Obito destroyed Konoha, Jiraiya didn't come back, so he felt very guilty and he yelled at Obito. Even so, you shouldn't destroy Konoha. If it were me, I would never do that. Obito smiled. So you're not me. In your heart, Konoha is very important. But in my heart, Lin is more important than Konoha. Besides, the original intention of establishing the village is to protect the villagers. It is not about sacrificing the villagers to protect the interests of the village. This is what Madara said. After hearing it, Jiraiya did not respond for a long time. Obito patted his shoulder and said, "Don't you always teach others to let go of hatred? It's been so many years since I destroyed Konoha. None of my teachers said anything. Why can't you let go of your hatred?" Hearing this, Jiraiya's defense broke. Indeed, he taught Nagato this, but it is easier said than done when it happens to him. How can hatred be let go with just a few words? Konoha killed Nagato's parents. He taught Nagato to let go of his hatred, and Naruto used words to convince Nagato. But when Hidan killed Asuma, why couldn't Shikamaru and Choji let go of their hatred? Why can't they let go of their hatred and insist on killing Hidan? Hehe. In the end, Konoha only cares about himself. This village is also a selfish and double-standard village. After hearing what Obito said, Jiraiya felt a little depressed. He said, "What do you want to tell me? Speak." Quote. Obito said, "I want your help." Obito then told Jiraiya his plan. He told Jiraiya about his plan to end this situation and build a new world. Jiraiya was amazed after hearing this. He hadn't expected that Obito's ambitions would be so huge. Back then, Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara personally ended Sengoku and established the one country, one village system. But now, Obito wants to end this system. Build Datong. Turn the entire ninja world into one village and implement the system of one ninja world, one village. In this way, there will be no hostile forces and no war. In a trance, Jiraiya inexplicably thought of Toad Sage's prophecy. He will meet a person who will bring great changes to the world. It is unknown whether this change will bring stability to the world, or bring destruction. Originally Jiraiya thought that this child of prophecy was Nagato. But now it seems that is not entirely true. Chapter 39, Susanoo Tata Buddha, two people destroyed the four countries. The fire and the tree world, the world is Konoha. Legend has it, the child of prophecy mentioned by Toad Sage is the blue-eyed boy who playfully calls out the name of the nine-headed beast. However, Jiraiya has seen many amazing geniuses. Nagato possesses the Rinnegan, which is purple. Minato did have blue eyes, but he did not have the power to control the nine-tailed beasts, and he was no longer a teenager. The Obito in front of me is. He does have a lofty ideal to lead the ninja world to true peace. He also has the ability to control the nine-tailed beasts. Toad Sage's prophecy was half true and half false. If it was changed to, the red-eyed boy who playfully calls out the name of the nine-headed beast, it would be much more consistent. Although Jiraiya doesn't like Obito. But, he really approves of Obito's plan. What do you need me to do? Obito smiled and said, "Nothing, I just hope you won't stop me. To me, you are a nuisance. So I don't want to waste too much time on you." Jiraiya admired Obito's outspokenness. Obito's outspokenness comes from his powerful strength. Indeed, although Obito has double Kamui, he is inherently invincible. However, after Jiraiya's Sage transformation, he is also very difficult to deal with. Sage transformation, which means controlling the power of nature, is an ability that even Six Paths Otsutsuki does not have. Obito said goodbye to Jiraiya. Then Jiraiya came to the Hyuga clan. Ever since the Uchiha clan was suppressed by the second Hokage, the Hyuga clan has gradually risen and slowly become the largest family in Konoha. Looking at Hyuga Hiyashi who was sitting cross-legged in front of him. He was shocked by Obito's ambitions and plans. However, he didn't want to get involved. Because he didn't believe Obito could accomplish such a thing. Hyuga Hiyashi said, "Why do you think you can accomplish something that even the first generation couldn't do?" Obito said, "The first generation is too indecisive. If he works together with Uchiha Madara. Susanoo Buddha, two people destroyed four countries. The raging fire adds to the tree world, and the whole world is covered with leaves. By then, the ninja world will be like this. Susanoo Buddha, two people destroyed four countries. The raging fire adds to the tree world, and the whole world is covered with leaves." Hyuga Hiyashi chewed on these words. The more he thought about it, the more frightened he became. The whole world is Konoha. This kind of scene is exciting just to think about. It caught fire immediately. Hyuga Heihachi said, "Can you surpass your ancestor Uchiha Madara?" Obito nodded, "I have faith in that." Hyuga Heihachi added, "Even so. If you were Uchiha Madara, then where is your Senju Hashirama?" Obito smiled slightly, and a huge branch appeared on the palm of his right hand. "Not only do I possess the power of the Uchiha, I also possess the power of the Senju Hashirama wood style. I alone am enough. I came to you, the Hyuga clan, because your Byakugan is very powerful. I don't want to waste my time dealing with you. You don't need to go to Rain Shinobi, I will initiate talks with the Hokage tomorrow, you just need to support me." Hyuga Heihachi thought for a long time. Then he slammed the table. "Done. Maybe, the Hyuga clan will rise again because of this decision." Obito smiled. Then he disappeared here. The next day. Konoha Hokage building. I don't know who spread the news. Many Konoha villagers gathered around the Hokage building. Because there is a meeting today that concerns their future. And inside the Hokage building, there was indeed a meeting going on. The lineup is divided into two factions. One faction of Rain Shinobi, and one person of Obito. One faction is Konoha, headed by Minato. Behind him is Shimura Danzo of the Root. Jiraiya and Tsunade are two of the Konoha Sannin. Then there are the patriarchs of the major families. Including Hyuga Heihachi of the Hyuga clan. Including Yamanaka Hiei of the Yamanaka clan. Including Nara Shikaku of the Nara clan. All the people from Konoha's major clans were behind Minato. Konoha is different from Rain Shinobi. Rain Shinobi went through the Third Ninja World War. Without destruction, there would be no construction. Now, Obito is the one who has the final say in Rain Shinobi. As for Konoha, Minato not only has to consider the feelings of the top leaders, but also the feelings of the major families of Konoha. Obito coughed. "Put out your own plan." As Obito spoke, the atmosphere in the entire conference hall became solemn. Nara Shikaku is Konoha's military advisor, and even he is shocked by Obito's great ideals. However, this plan was too difficult to implement. If it succeeds, fine. If they fail, Konoha and Rain Shinobi will become the public enemy of the entire ninja world. Therefore, even he was secretly shocked. Minato listened to Obito's words, he was excited, "Do you really think so?" Obito said, "Yes, I want to create Datong. Build a perfect world. I've had enough of this world. I don't want there to be another war in the ninja world. Establishing a ninja village is the best way. I'm working on it. Akatsuki is working hard for this. Rain Shinobi Village is also working hard on this." Minato turned around and looked at everyone, what do you think?" Jiraiya paused and said, "I agree. Indeed, the ninja world needs to change." Tsunade looked at Jiraiya and agreed, and she agreed too. And the family of Konoha. Most people, led by the Hyuga clan, agreed. Even if you disagree, remain neutral. But, at this moment, a discordant voice appeared. "No, I don't agree." It was Shimura Danzo. His eyes were gloomy. "If Konoha really merged with Rain Shinobi, how could I still be the Hokage?" Obito is a smart guy, but he is also insidious. Under the guise of saving the ninja world, they deceived these fools who yearn for peace. He would become a hero in the ninja world, but how would Laozi become the Hokage? Danzo disagrees. Obito asked, "Why?" Danzo sneered, "Why? You still ask why? How many people did you kill in Konoha? Why should we cooperate with you? Why should we believe you? If you want to cooperate, ask the villagers of Konoha if they agree or not. There are a large number of villagers outside. At the instruction of the Root, I learned the plan of this meeting." "What? Konoha is merging with Rain Shinobi. Is this a joke? I heard that the ruler of Rain Shinobi is Akatsuki. Isn't Akatsuki an assassin organization? Yeah, let's live with the killer. Not only that, but all the members of Akatsuki are traitorous ninjas. You know Uchiha Obito who destroyed Konoha a few years ago. He's the one who's behind the Rain Shinobi. What? I can't cooperate. My man was killed by Obito. My parents died in that turmoil. My son too. My house was also destroyed. My wife also died at the hands of Obito. Can't merge. Cannot. We don't agree. We don't agree." Quote. The noise outside was getting louder and louder. This voice of opposition caused a butterfly effect, with more and more villagers joining the protest. Minato looked surprised. Why? Why would so many people suddenly gather? Danzo gave a sinister smile. In this case, Rain Shinobi and Konoha cannot merge. Obito looked at Danzo deeply, making Danzo's scalp tingle. Obito slowly said to Minato, "Sensei. Think about it. You are the Hokage of Konoha. Sometimes, orders can be enforced. And even if you don't cooperate with me, I will also carry out my plan. By then, the method will not be so gentle. Maybe, I will come to Konoha again with all the members of Akatsuki and Kumo. And, you can think about it. Compared to the damage the war has done to the village, what I have done is not worth mentioning. This is a proposal and a threat." Obito dropped a word and disappeared from here. "Teacher, I will come to see you again in a month. I hope you will give me an answer by then. I don't want Rain Shinobi and Konoha to go to war. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot." Chapter 40, The Root of Konoha. After Obito left, Danzo spoke slowly. "He's so arrogant, he talks like we in Konoha are afraid of him." Jiraiya taunted, "Why didn't you dare to say anything when he didn't leave?" Snort. Danzo snorted coldly and left this place of trouble. Indeed, Obito's almost threatening words made Minato very angry. But, being angry is one thing. Konoha is indeed no match for Rain Shinobi. Dot 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 dot. After Danzo went back, Obito's gaze wouldn't go away from my mind. He was sleeping and suddenly woke up with a start. Because he dreamed that Obito came to mess with him. This made Danzo unable to sleep well for a long time. But when the Hokage's obsession is above all else. Dot 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 dot. A week later, at Minato's house, a secret meeting was taking place. There are only 3 people. Minato, Nara Shikaku, and Jiraiya. In the future, Nara Shikamaru is Naruto's military advisor. And now, Nara Shikaku is also Minato's military advisor. Minato asked, "How's the intelligence gathering going?" Nara Shikaku said, "Most of the people in Akatsuki are rebel ninjas from various villages. Their intelligence is easy to collect, but they are all very strong." Jiraiya raised a brow. "Tell me about it," Nara Shikamaru said calmly. "Let's not talk about the newly established Cloud organization in Rain Shinobi village. Just looking at the members of Akatsuki, we in Konoha are not able to deal with them. The 10 commandments of the 10 people of Akatsuki. Ling Zhang is the current leader of Akatsuki. According to intelligence, he is Yahiko from the former Akatsuki organization, now called Pain. He once single-handedly destroyed half of Iwagakure. His eyes resemble those of the legendary Sage of 6 Paths. Yahiko." Jiraiya frowned. "What about Nagato? Why does Yahiko have Nagato's eyes?" Minato said, "He was able to destroy half of Iwagakure in an instant, and Unoki couldn't do anything to him. It seems that his strength is quite terrifying. Go on." Quote. Nara Shikaku said again, Baihu Konan. Suspected of having special bloodline limits, but no special combat record. Orochimaru defected from Akatsuki. The 3 Hidans are followers of the evil god from Tengen village. Unknown capabilities. Xuanwu Kakashi, a former genius ninja of Konoha and the son of Konoha's White Fang, has mastered the short sword method to perfection and is now the White Fang of Akatsuki. Suzaku Uchiha Itachi, the son of Uchiha Fugaku, replaced Fugaku as the new Suzaku of the Akatsuki organization. He is suspected to have activated the Mangekyō Sharingan, but his abilities are unknown. Qinglong Deidara, Iwagakure rebel ninja, Tsuchikage Onoki's disciple. Its ability is explosion style, which is extremely lethal but slightly weak in defense. Jade Maiden Akashano Scorpion, Sunagakure puppeteer, grandson of Chiyo. A genius puppeteer who once destroyed a small country. Hokuto Kakuzu, formerly of Takigakure Anbu, is an old monster who has lived from the Sengoku period to the present. He also claimed that he had failed in an assassination attempt on the first Hokage and successfully escaped, and his strength is remarkable. Hoshigaki Kisame, a former member of the Kurigakure Code Club, killed the Watermelon Mountain pufferfish demon and defected from Mist Shinobi, a Mist Shinobi S-level defector, and the owner of the Big Sword Samahata. This is the information that members of the Akatsuki organization can openly find out. This does not include Nagato, whose whereabouts are unknown. This does not include Zabuza and Fugaku from the Cloud organization. Excluding the Uchiha clan's talented boys Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Obito. Moreover, Three Tails is said to be controlled by Lin as well. The current Rain Shinobi village, Konoha, is invincible. If they really give up negotiations. If we choose to go to war with Konoha, Konoha will definitely fall. Although, for the sake of the balance of the ninja world, other ninja villages will not allow Rain Shinobi to devour Konoha. However, if that happened, Konoha's losses would be unimaginable. Because then, they won't just have to watch out for Rain Shinobi. Also, beware of the encroachment and extortion of Sand Shinobi, Rock Shinobi, Mist Shinobi, and Cloud Shinobi. Current analysis. The best way. It turned out to be a merger of Konoha and Rain Shinobi. Although Konoha and Rain Shinobi will be feared by other ninja villages after they merge into a super village, but at this time, the purpose of Akatsuki is revealed. Akatsuki is not only the guardian organization of Rain Shinobi Village, but also a notorious killer organization internationally. Moreover, Obito seemed to be releasing information about Akatsuki intentionally to make other villages fear Akatsuki. If the Konoha Rain Shinobi merged, the power of Konoha combined with the power of Rain Shinobi, there is no need to be afraid of other villages. Minato sighed. He had already thought of a reply for Obito. That is to agree to Obito's plan. Although doing so is extremely rebellious and goes against the teachings of the third generation, Minato made this decision. It laid the foundation for future peace in the ninja world. Moreover, looking back at the previous generations of Hokage, the first Hokage was on par with Sengoku. Second Hokage is Konoha. The third Hokage began to decline. Only Minato has the courage to agree to Obito's plan. Time flies. Tomorrow is the day Obito agreed to come to negotiate with Konoha. In the middle of the night, Danzo woke up from another nightmare. He dreamed again that Obito came to kill him. During this month, every time Danzo went to sleep, Obito's meaningful look would appear in his mind. His spirit was tense all the time, because in Danzo's opinion, if someone blocked his plan, I will definitely find a way to kill him. And now he has blocked Obito's plan. So, he will definitely mess himself up. So Danzo arranged a large number of routes near his home in advance, but despite this, Danzo still couldn't sleep well. He also always wakes up with a startle. Danzo glanced outside. The moon was high in the sky and there was a cool breeze. Nothing happened. Go back to sleep. By this time, Danzo was about to have a mental breakdown, and he hadn't slept well for a month. But, in the darkness, suddenly a pair of bloody Sharingan lit up. Danzo was about to yell, but it was too late. Kamui. Obito's eye Kamui activated much faster than Danzo could open his mouth. The next moment, Danzo arrived in the Kamui space. In the Kamui space, a huge and ferocious Geto statue stands tall, and Obito stands on top of the Geto statue, exuding a huge sense of oppression. On the 10 fingers of the Geto statue stand 10 men wearing long robes with red clouds and black backgrounds. Each of them looks difficult to deal with. This is the Akatsuki organization. The person on one of the fingers spoke, and Danzo looked over. The person was very handsome, with silver hair combed back. He also carries a giant weird red sickle. Boss, who is this? Obito, the leader of Konoha's root, Shimura Danzo. The man known as the root of Konoha. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.